Songbird RV Park, Phase 2, located on US Highway 287. Kathy came to me and told me she was trying to help get this, processed.
We did the preliminaries, everything done on it, and she was just her final deal, and she's got about, I mean, it's just a $30,000 and $40,000 deal now. Once we approve it, she wants to finish the approval of it so that she can go ahead and start the process. She's met all the requirements for the city, had the bores done, all the water requirements, the letters, everything, it's all in place. It's ready to go. We just need to finalize it for her, so.
Do they have addresses in there? I just.
Personal addresses?
Yes.
No.
Okay, I didn't think so, but I
Yeah,
just.
it's one, emergency address on the, that we, you know, how you get your regular.
Right, I understand.
And then they just have slot numbers, but
Okay.
they get their mail at the post office.
Okay, good deal. Alright, so everything looks good to you?
Everything was right on. Kathy really, studied on it real hard, and it was really done really well, so.
Yes, it's what you told me. Alright, so I'll entertain a motion to approve the final plat for Songbird RV Park, Phase 2, located on US Highway 287.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Hill, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Dixon, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? So ordered.
Thank you, ma'am.
You need to sign.
Y'all,
so
yes, I probably need that. That's gonna be something she'll sign and stuff.
Yeah, they said I need to go file it over at the courthouse.
There's Kathy right there.
There's Kathy. How many do you need to have?
You need to do all of them, sign all of them. Y'all wanna do it
If we
right
need to
now,
do the
Judge?
signatures, yeah, let's go ahead and do it.
That way she can go on over there and file it.
Yeah, that was no time like the present.
Yes, sir, everybody's here, except Sean. He's in, jury duty.
I appreciate it. It's been a long time coming.
Yes, ma'am. You worked hard. I appreciate you.
Don't do me. Thank you. I told her, don't do me.
Who?
Mindy.
That's property owner signature, so she needs to be sure to sign this.
Yeah, I'm mad at you.
It's funny, I saw you at lunch for my birthday lunch, and then you did that, and I thought, well, that's good.
Get Mark.
Do I need to sign this other?
Yes, sir. That's all of them.
I can sign later, if you just take that over the court signature.
That's
Just
all that
scan it
matters.
later.
Because she's gotta go in there and file with her office.
Is the other tax certificate?
It was all in her other stuff. She wouldn't have made it this far if she didn't.
Well, I just wonder where it's at.
It should be with all that other stuff.
We had a big
Just the
file
two?
all
Okay.
right in-
Yes, sir. Well, really, it's full for her too.
I'll have them see if they can find it in minutes.
Yeah, it's in there. Says she wouldn't have made it this far.
No way.
One more?
Yes, sir.
Do you wanna look at mine?
Oh, you'll need it when you go to file.
Oh, okay, I didn't know if you needed.
No, ma'am, when you go file, they'll ask for that.
Okay.
Good, so that'll be good.
So much, Judge.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it for you.
Alright,
Okay, I'm gonna send this Songbird.
here you drop one. Make sure you sign that, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I will.
Thank you so much. I
You bet.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
You don't want it more?
No, ma'am, she can
That's
take it.
everything, so I'll get back, right?
No, we're done. Okay, now what we need here is I need to run down and get this signed.
Yes.
She's the Department of Development Director. Yeah, okay, this one I'm gonna go to you.
All this is done.
This is you.
Do I sign this?
You can sign it. And then Mark has to sign it.
Do we need that before I go?
No,
Are you Mark?
I am.
Yeah, he's the man.
Okay, okay.
We'll get Christina to sign it, and then, we need to get it notarized. So we'll walk over and say, Lisa, do that for you. All right. Thank y'all.
Got it?
Just get-
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate Appreciate it.
Thank you,
Yes, ma'am,
ma'am.
thank you.
Appreciate you.
All right, moving to the next item on the agenda is workshop. Discuss, creating and outlining a budget to protect and encumber Anderson County, American Rescue Plan Act funds, our ARPA funds, together with possible future plan for civic center maintenance, repairs, construction, county buildings to include Anderson County Courthouse, agricultural extension building. I went ahead and, since I outlined that the other day in court, I just made y'all a copy of what I put up on the PowerPoint, just for reference, because it's got dollars and, the total amount. Now, we actually budgeted for the constable radios out of this, so I haven't taken that out. That line item was on, I think, one of the last slides, and it was estimated 24,000. That's a little less than that, I believe. It was 23,000 something. We just rounded it up to 24 when I put it in the PowerPoint. So I just wanted you to remember that's been taken out of there. Okay. So we're a little less than the 5 million. We're starting at 5,696,383, less that amount for the constable radio, which is a little over 23,000.
It's 56731.
Okay. 5,673,130. 5,673,130. Okay. All right.
And when do we have to have this budgeted by? What were you saying the other day?
If nothing happens, we have to have it all obligated by the end of 2024, and then we have to spend it by the end of 26. But I've been made aware that there's talks, that the federal government could take it away at any time, anything that you do not have obligated. I've got emails on it, I've seen them listserv.
I'm getting some things, because I just got something from John Cornyn's office that he at least was trying to get the Biden administration to outline some different things, whether it affected ARPA or other funds. I don't know.
Well, wouldn't they have to pass something to take it back, since it's already been passed to give it out?
We've already received it. So.
Yeah, seemed like they'd have to pass some bill.
I mean,
to
the
take it.
email I got the other day said that they already took back other,
Yeah, as of
Send it
June
to you.
1st, because they're dealing with a debt ceiling, so they're trying to reduce the budget on the debt ceiling, so that's why they're calling funds back. The only thing I was worried about is I put that on the agenda because as budget officer, if we lose $5.6 million because we didn't have anything budgeted, I just outlined the budget.
I got you.
And I spent the weekend putting it together, trying to at least give us something that if somebody came in and what have you got the money dedicated to? That was a viable plan of projects that we could legitimately identify as projects that we could look at. Whether we spend it on that or not, that's the court's decision.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All I was trying to do is obligated to protect it. And I don't want somebody to walk in here and tell us, if you don't have it budgeted, you're fixing to lose it.
Well, I was just going by what.
So
they
that's all
told
I
us.
was concerned about.
I understand, cause I'm just going by what they told us that we had till the end of 24 to actually budget it, but I didn't know how they changed it without, something being passed.
No, I think they would have to pass
They
something.
do. I talked to TAC Legal this last week, and they called me and they sent me all this stuff here. She said that it would have to go before Congress before that any action could be
That they
taken.
could take it.
Yeah, and TAC is gonna be the one that represents basically the state of Texas for it, so. And I talked to their legal on it, and they said that they've not heard anything, they didn't know where it was even coming from, they haven't heard it yet, so. But, I guess if there's a possibility of it, surely TAC would know it, but they said that would be, something that would go through Congress when Congress passes it, and that it put into, form that they could recall it, then they would start notifying the Texas counties about it.
What did you find it?
yes, it says Congress and the President have agreed to a deal to temporarily address the debt ceiling issue, which became law as the Fiscal Responsibility Act of 2023, FRA. One aspect of the law is the recession of certain COVID response appropriations, which means clawing back unobligated funds states that these recessions will be applied to unallocated balances to each applicable appropriation as of June 3rd, 2023, the date of enactment of the FRA. Statutory appropriations, like those under ARPA, allow federal agencies to use public funds for specific purposes. Federal agencies obligate their appropriations through direct spending or awarding assistance to non-federal entities. If appropriations are not obligated, federal agencies can often use those funds for other purposes that align with the original statutory purpose. The ARPA, state, and local fiscal recovery funds are not among the 81 appropriations that are included in the FRA. Even if they were, Treasury's appropriation was obligated when the award was made to your county, even if they're not obligated, even if you have not obligated all of your SLFRF. So they were just letting us know about that.
Well, they said the 2024 was what that's
You have to
what the
obligate
deal.
by the end of 24.
Yeah, by the end of 24, and you got the end of 26 to get it spent. That's what,
Correct.
that's today.
And that was
Well, I
my,
just-
and that was my understanding.
I was just letting the court know that that's what's out there and what I've been hearing.
Mhm.
Well, we need to, I mean, I'm not saying we don't need a budget, I'm not saying that, but I just wonder how they went back on what they told us. I guess it was last year, we was hearing all of that. So,
And that hadn't changed
yeah,
as far as I know. And it basically says that ARPA's not included in that. But any of those other funds that they call back, they just said dated June 1st. So I was just trying to be precautionary. I don't want us to lose $5.6 million. And the thing is, that the house changed. When the house changed, then anything can change. And if they all of a sudden pass a bill, I just want to be prepared for it.
I understand.
That was my only deal. And like I said, the court decides how we're gonna spend it,
When it comes down to the bottom line.
when it comes down to it, yeah. So. And, you know, we set it for a workshop, so what I thought I'd do, I kinda saw this done one time before, I thought it was a pretty good strategy, so I thought, you know, I kinda outlined some of my thoughts.
Yes, sir.
But I thought I'd kind of see how y'all will prioritize the money and then kind of come together on that, see what your ideas are, what your priorities are. Because we really hadn't talked about that much since I took office.
Well, we needed to do this right here, you know,
Right.
sit around and talk. The
Right.
one thing that I would like to bring up, and I've said something to Megan about it, we're buying back these maintainers. And it's a pretty good sum of money, but it's a smart move for the county because we've already seen that the maintainers worth $300-something thousand, because one was sold on an auction for that amount. So there's a definite, money for the county in these pieces of equipment if we purchase them. What's the purchase price of them?
You see investment.
185.
I'm
185.
gonna ask about that because I wanted to talk to y'all about that because I don't think, I didn't realize it, and I don't think y'all realize it, how much your payment's going to be.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be.
It's, if
Yeah.
you,
If we went for another one, the payment would be through the roof.
well, no, the ones
No,
that.
the ones
we're
refinancing.
You got.
Yeah, it's
The
gonna
ones
be,
You
that
gotta
are
pay.
lower,
You gotta
that's
find
it.
yours, I mean, 185,000
Okay,
roughly.
what was my payment gonna be on my 120,000, 3,000?
3,000.
See, for my
Yes.
loader to refinance 3,000.
And that was only 100
20,000.
It was 109,000 with the interest,
Okay,
so
so,
3,000.
so we're refinancing, was it 7?
No,
6.
just his were
Just
refinancing,
his.
No, but
and
he's
we're going
talking-
out for bid for financing for the rest of
The
them.
Yeah, how many maintainers?
He's talking about a loader, a
Um,
wheel loader.
Okay, well, what I'm trying to understand
How
is,
many is it?
what pieces of equipment are we talking about? And what, if you're talking about, instead of leasing, purchasing with ARPA funds, can you give me an idea of what those costs are gonna be?
Well, that's
Per
what I,
piece of equipment, do you have that?
Well, I have it for each precinct. For Greg's two that we were going to get, mine's the 125 you're gonna pay down.
Alright, so precinct 1,
244,508.
2, tell me,
244,508.
okay,
And then Rashad has one, and it's 184,754.
just a second. 184, 754. Okay, now Greg's was 2 pieces of equipment?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'm putting 125,000 down on
Yeah.
mine, that's why mine's so low.
Okay, and Rashad's is 1?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And then Kenneth's is 2 pieces of equipment, and it's 389,482.
389.
482.
Does that include the one
No.
No, that's just two
No, I'm gonna,
maintainers.
she's already got my finance for it, I'm gonna do that.
Okay,
If the
all
court
right, so,
decides to give you the
I
110 for that one, I mean,
I understand, but,
we can go and pay that one off.
okay,
And
what
then
Joey?
Joey has two, and it's $379, $495.
379.
Well, when I was thinking about it, I wasn't
Which is a
sure.
total of $1,198,239.
Wait a minute.
198.
Okay, when I was thinking about this since Friday when you sent me that, cause I knew it was gonna be expensive, and there's no way around it.
Yeah, it's
You know, I
3
mean,
years.
I understood what it was, but I think it's gonna pay off for precinct 3 in the end to get that paid, because we know we can sell it at any minute for how much?
300.
No, a year.
Oh, mine
the
about
loader.
185.
Yeah, that we
Bought
can
it for
make.
110.
I agree it's a good deal, it's just, I didn't know.
Yeah, so anyway, but I'm just not sure how that, works out with precinct 2, because he only has one. And that's kinda like what I like discussing, you're putting 125 down, and me and Joey don't have that ability to do that right now, so I don't know. I mean, I was thinking
What
if
if
we
we
could at least do
Buy one
buy
apiece.
one apiece,
That's
and then me and
And
you would have to
finance
finance the other two. Greg's gonna have 125 to pay on his, and that's still gonna be a substantial payment for each of us, but we've been paying lease on a loader plus 2 maintainers.
That's right.
But
And
your
maintenance
payment
was
way-
1,800 a month
Yeah, it was
I
way less.
understand. So it's gonna cost
1,800 per machine though.
per machine. We were paying
But
1,800 per
We're
machine.
gonna own these machines. We
That's
never
right.
owned them, and so this is.
That's why I say if it paid for one machine for every precinct, you know, it'd be on equal up, but it don't matter, you know, whatever
Well,
goes out.
Yes, sir.
Well,
Two
if you just
pieces.
paid one machine.
Now, on my loader,
184.54. You take
we're
what
gonna
mine
pay
is and just get it
the
to
profit
That's what I'm
that I
saying, yours should
made
be
off.
paid
Oh,
for.
so
and
you wanna
then-
pay principal, some principal, I mean, you wanna,
Well, what my plan on my loader was, the profit that I made on my loader, plus take money out of my capital outlay, and that should pay off
Your
that
loader.
loader. Cause it made 60,000.
just for the record, so that Commissioner Mims came in a little late, he was on jury
well,
duty.
yours would be less,
Okay.
less.
Is that counting my,
Which
Got $6
Yeah,
check.
I
I
don't know.
mean, cash. I want $6.
well, no, that's fine, and we can talk about this later. I think that's just for the two maintainers, correct? The three, or, yes.
Yes.
Okay, yes.
379.
Okay, that's just
Oh,
for
you
those
have
two.
another one. You
Yeah, I have
another
that
one. Yeah,
loader.
Yes.
Remember, I sold
Yes,
one,
yeah.
and I was gonna take, it made
So
60,000.
Instead of finance.
So
like
take
I
that
did.
60,000 plus capital
Yeah,
outlay.
you can do that today.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
All right, well, what I was getting at, if we went with the, and like I say, I'd love to pay all of this, I'd love to pay the 1.198, but like I said, it's not fair to this precinct.
Let me
so-
ask a question.
Yes, sir.
In what I proposed was 1.4 million
Yes, sir.
for road and bridge.
Well,
Why don't we at least consider some way to evenly take and pay off all this with that 1.4? And then distribute the rest to the other precincts equally for road construction or whatever.
Well, the problem, what he's saying is you have to be equally on the dollar amount where I'm
Well,
paying
see,
for.
see,
But see, he's taking,
Yeah.
but see what he just did, he just took 350 that he was gonna give each one of us and just said, hey, whatever you did with that 350, if you wanna allocate
That's
it to
right.
your maintainers, you do that. So like, just say
That's
for
what they
instance,
do like
mine
that,
is
just split it between-
184, I will get money back.
And I could pay for mine and keep my hundred and
But we
twenty.
need to
Yes, sir.
budget it in ARPA,
yes,
and that way he'd have it for 24, 25, and 26, should he need to spread it over there.
yes, could do
So if we
whatever
did
you needed each year.
350,000 for each precinct, what do y'all think?
If we did that, it'd leave you owing 29 and me owing 39, and I can handle that with no finance and.
Yeah, I can take that out
But
of
you-
my left.
Yeah, I mean, we could do that. We just wouldn't give us any extra money for road work, but you'd be sitting there with $660,000 worth of machine paid for.
And you wouldn't have to pay the
He
lease.
wouldn't
Yeah,
have-
you
Yeah,
don't have to
we're
pay the lease on
We're
it
through
each month.
paying, and it belongs to the county.
And we can't make decisions, but if
Yes,
we
just
can take it.
put that in
If we
this.
could
To
show
create a
that as
budget and
just use
then
that 1.4.
we can come back
split
next quarter or something and
350,000.
decide if somebody wanna pay theirs out of it.
I
Yeah.
don't have a problem with that. I mean,
Well, we gotta finalize it Monday anyway, so we got all weekend to think about it.
Yeah, I mean.
Does that sound like a feasible plan?
Mhm.
Okay.
I like the idea of it, like I said, lease payments together, so.
Won't that go away?
No, that's
No,
still
that's
for
not-
his,
that's
that's for his
different.
loader.
But you gonna get extra money.
All right,
if
so-
they-
No, I won't get
No,
any.
this is 379.
I'll actually have to come up with 39
$380.
Yeah, his is 389.
unless we
All right,
get
so-
390.
So we all right to propose that for right now?
That's good with me, I don't have a problem.
Okay.
I'd say propose 400.
Yeah, hold on, Judge,
Yeah, Judge, hold on one second.
that would be 1.6.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
If we did
Just
400,000
flat
apiece,
across the
then
board.
I could
And
pay
that
mine
take care of
off.
everything?
That
Yeah.
should be able to cover theirs
Then
2
we
and
can
3.
pay our
I mean,
stuff off.
3 and 4.
the loaders too.
No, you're gonna pay your
If you
loader
went-
off.
Oh,
Alright, so
yeah.
1.6.
It would give you,
Okay. Does that sound better?
$31,000. Yes.
And then that way everybody's got an equal amount? Okay. So 1.6?
1.6, yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
The only thing you're gonna do is make sure that you spend that dedicated money before 2026.
Before 2026 is over.
Yeah, before 2026 is over.
I think the way these road materials and fuel and stuff is,
So all the other monies that are left in there that need to roll over, especially your 210, you know, you need to leave it attached.
Yes, sir.
Way you can just roll it over.
Do 1.6 because it's 400 for everyone.
What is that, 1.4?
1.6. You'll get 400.
Y'all don't grade me on my artwork report.
He said, don't grade it
Don't
on
grade it on
the
the
On my artwork. Okay.
We didn't know.
I wanted to bring it up too. I wanted to bring it up too.
Realize it, and it's only 3 years, 100,000.
And I was gonna ask you if you can go longer than 3 years. Well, we can't go longer than 3 years, can we?
3 years, I mean, you look at, you take 36 months, multiply what you have.
That's a high
I didn't
payment.
even think about it,
So I knew it's gonna be high, but
Yeah.
like I say, it's worth it.
but then adding this to it, I was like, oh no. I didn't think it was gonna be possible.
but like I say, I do think it's smart to pay for the equipment.
Oh, there's no
Especially
doubt.
for what it's
This
worth
is
today.
This is a good opportunity to do that. Years. next
Well,
year
those
you might not be able
machines,
to do that.
they, you know, they're 8 to 10,000 hour machines and mine's
Or
got
you
1,800
keep-
hours.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And the thing is,
I'm gonna try to do the same. I think you keep a better list on it. That's good. Okay. So what I thought we'd do is kind of prioritize, if you wanted to use parts of this list, or projects that y'all are thinking about. I wanted, not necessarily put, that was something that was kind of already here to a certain extent, and something that's even for each of the 4 precincts.
Okay.
Okay, so that was good to be able to work on that. So what I thought we'd do, without putting dollar figures with them first, or maybe you want to, but I thought, let's prioritize some of the projects that we gotta do. And see what's, the court feels like is the most important, challenges we face.
Okay.
Okay? So, y'all tell me, I just, tell me what you think. What do you think is one of the main priorities we gotta take care of?
You mean as far as going
I'm
off?
talking about
As what we got
projects
right
that
now.
we face. I mean, you got a list of what I kind of prioritize. Y'all may have something that's not on that list.
Okay, well, we can just start with the first one that you have right after that, after the ARPA, even though we're still gonna be on ARPA, but let's just go to, the buildings. Let's talk about the civic center, it keeps coming up.
Okay, but is that the most, what I'm trying to do is
I'm gonna say the priority
is identify,
Rashad,
let's say kind of number one priority,
So you mean stuff we need to do?
Yeah,
I think the
in
number
the
one
county, okay.
priority is gonna be fixing the roof.
Okay,
getting
so
the
we're
leak
talking
fixed
about,
on
yes,
Fixing courthouse.
we're talking about
The
stuff
roof,
needs to be
the
done.
leak.
I understand.
Fixing the leak on the courthouse and getting their, our handrail put up in the bathroom over there for the ADA inspection and
That's
the
done.
elevator downstairs.
Already got that done on the
You got the
handrail.
handrail up?
Yep, we might have to buy a 42 inch, but that'll take care, I've already checked into it, I was gonna let y'all know. I had a contractor go over there, and there's different ways you can look at the 5 foot turning radius, so they're sending me diagrams. But I think we're okay on the room, we just gotta get the handrails up, and the first floor's okay.
Or goes in line?
So I was trying to address everything I could address, from our discussions the other day.
We got a leaking roof
So
and we
we
need
got
help
a
with
leaking
it.
roof,
But keep in mind, the roof's leaking, but we got ceilings falling in 3 or 4 places,
Right.
so can we just say courthouse? right there?
Courthouse.
okay.
Yeah.
Let's say
Yeah, okay.
courthouse.
I'm just gonna show historic courthouse.
Hey, Mr. Jeeves, I know you can text, but I'm recording. Call me back. Okay, everything okay? It doesn't feel like it.
No,
And
that
I'm
doesn't
putting
know.
figures on it,
Figure
yeah,
out
we're gonna
what-
try to
What project?
get everybody's consensus on some of the major projects we're facing. Well, I got a tape roller, trying to make sure I didn't stick something on here that's gonna hurt the wood.
Yes, I am.
What's he giggling about?
He said, he asked about that.
Okay. Ricky brought up Capital One bill, right?
Yeah.
Extension office.
Extension on it?
Extension
Okay.
office, yeah.
Okay.
It'll be the down story and compliant. That'll be done.
Okay. What else y'all think?
Now, when you say, county building,
You say what?
when you say county building,
I was just kinda, yeah,
I was just
the
wondering.
Civic Center,
Well, no, sir.
we brought up the Civic Center,
Yes, sir.
okay? So we need to have some discussion on that. So Civic Center,
Yeah, we could do that.
okay?
But I was gonna ask y'all about the county barn. See, the difference is, each precinct here has their own precinct barn except for precinct 2. The county barn and the county shop is shared. So I just wondered, when was the last time y'all actually went down there and took a look at that building? Because we got some bad leaks in there and some of the wood around that wall structure is rotting. That's on Bill's side and on my side. And, you know, that's what stopped us with the internet the last time, because it came in there and the squirrels and everything ate the line. So, you know, on our side, we don't have internet. We just have it on that side for state inspections that build them have to do with state work. But there needs to be some repairs done to that old building. Last time I paid for a bunch of them, out my board, out my county budget.
Try to keep getting those. So the county bond?
I mean, some point in time, somebody's gonna have to look at it. I mean, I remember I did it, 12 years ago, but those walls are falling again on their front side.
Well, I hadn't seen it, I didn't know anything about it, so I haven't been down there.
I don't think we all have the same problems with it, it's just a little different.
Yes, sir.
I mean, mine's in good shape, I had a new roof put on mine back a couple of years ago. When y'all got anything that need to be done to ours?
No, I think
No,
the last one redone was Joey's.
Yeah, we built
I don't
add
know
on
if it need to
mine.
necessarily be
Got rid of
recognized so
that
much of
portable
this,
building.
just see what you gotta do. But you get somebody over there to get you some quotes on it, and see what needs to be repaired. And we don't run it too, it's like we did, on the fence the other day, when we built a fence around. And $8,000 on that fence, that new property. It might cost more than that to repair that wall. Get some quotes.
I'll get them and bring them to judge. I just kinda didn't wanna cover it out of my budget this time. We'll bring it to
Well,
the
I don't
court.
think you need to, I think it's necessarily out, that's what I'd say, it's part of the county building system.
Okay. I'll get some stuff together and bring it to the court.
It'll be permanent, I mean, it'll probably be capitalized.
None of mine's ever been, I paid for it.
Yeah, I think last time you had to pay for yours
I
after
paid
the
for
fire
mine.
and
I
Joey
I
paid for
all my-
his.
I paid for
And
my
I paid for
roof, and I
mine,
paid for
that-
all my buildings.
But yeah, if you get quotes on it.
Cause
we
then
can-
the rate
So
was,
let me ask a
That would've
question,
been, that's, all would've been.
the barn that you work out of.
but it's not actual precinct 2 property, that's what I'm saying.
I know when I was here before, that was basically maintaining a lot of the same equipment for everybody. I know Road Ridge One did a lot of their own equipment, they had their own mechanic,
We did too.
so, does anybody else have a mechanic?
Yeah, I do.
You got one?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, that's a little different than when I was here before, but I hadn't looked at that barn, cause I didn't know there was a concern,
Yes, sir.
so we can list it if you want to.
I think we can just come back, if we all
I
agree,
think
I can
that's
bring it
something
back.
we can, once
Yeah, I
we
can
get
bring it back, as long
some
as we understand
That's
it,
not
I kinda don't wanna
that
pay
later
for it this
time.
time in my
Not
budget.
necessarily.
Because I don't think it's gonna be
Okay, alright.
that, yeah.
What else?
Oh, we got up there, what's the next thing?
I tell you, and this is just a suggestion, I know we're already getting money for equipment, but, I got 210 miles of road. And in my budget, I got enough money to safely say I can fix 3 miles of road a year,
I understand.
with equipment.
When you start with parts and
Fuel.
repairs, yes, sir.
Yeah, and that's, everything's added in there into that, that's on a good year, if we don't have a bunch of breakdowns and stuff, I've got about 400,000 for fuel, parts and repairs, and road construction, culverts, oil, But like I say, I know we're already getting a big sum, and that's gonna help a lot as far as our equipment. But
Yeah,
if
but
that
you won't have
wasn't,
no payments on that no more, I think.
Right.
What was the lease running on some of this?
About 1,800 a month.
So the maintainers were 1,800
Yeah,
and the
three
wheel
wheels.
I'm
loaders
just
were
talking about
15.
from an annual standpoint, what are we
I was
talking,
gonna say,
1,800 a month, or let's say
Yeah.
2,000 a month?
You paid 1,800, about 1,800 a month, times 3,
two,
2, so.
And then
I mean,
my
The
you
wheel
loader, I
loader was
think,
15, so y'all can't come
1,200.
to me out. I said,
pay-
I
well,
would
I was paying about 4,000 a month, so.
Okay, I guess something that I don't think
About
about when we're talking.
50,000 a year.
But Mark's gotta take this stuff down, so.
That'd be about
Let's
50,000
talk
a
one
year.
at a time for him, okay.
that's just a suggestion.
what?
Okay,
Sorry.
Commissioner Hill wanna see if there could be a little
Road
extra money put
construction.
in road bridge.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
the road construction money.
Yes, sir. Hey, man, it's, you know, I don't laugh at me, but I stopped by the grocery store and I bought some Goldie's Calm. If anybody need any, you gotta get 2 tents. You eat a couple of these, in about 10 minutes they start to work. Natural vitamin.
I got enough natural vitamins.
Natural vitamin. Calm.
Have your
I told
eyes
myself I
crossed.
was gonna get some of these and bring them to court this morning.
I think you made that label and put on the
Huh? Yeah, have you sit over cross-eyed, blurred.
Natural Calm, if anybody need it, it's Natural Calm.
That's bad. Gotta get something, Mark.
Supposed to laugh.
That's my mind. Well, some stuff ain't real funny, so I don't laugh, I just.
Yeah, I know it. You sitting there.
I got my mind wrapped around things, and sit there, act like some laughing, silly, something like that.
Humor's good. Okay. Alright, since Mark's here, I'm just gonna ask him, I hadn't talked to him about this, but they're wanting some IT projects, okay? I listed them in there, but we didn't really have any discussion, he's here. You were talking about going paper, Judge Davis, you and Teresa have been talking about that. And I know you're not prepared, because I didn't ask you to prepare, but this is a workshop. If you wanna have a little input, or you kind of apprise the court of what y'all have been talking about here. If you wanna get here.
Just don't ask me to draw it.
Well, that way it's on the record. No, okay.
So really, it's not the clerk. It's gonna be,
District judges, right?
it's for the courts, yes.
District courts.
For basically them to be able to view the records. In a perfect world, it's to view the records, sign the records, transmit the record to whoever they want to transmit it to.
All right there.
Right, correct. Or somebody in their office, basically. Because right now, everything that comes through electronic, what we call e-file, that's been mandated since December of 2012,
And we're still doing paper.
we're still dropping it to paper and putting it, somebody's got to put it in a paper folder.
The cord's not very long, so.
So it's put in a paper folder, and that's got to be acid free, and those things are expensive. So it just gets really expensive. So basically, this is not for the clerk. The clerk, that we don't have to produce paper. We basically did it for the courts.
But the problem is they have to come from upstairs down to district clerk and to your clerk office for something to get in record, to come back up, to go up. Back, somebody has to see it on the system.
So they have access to the system in their office. There's just no computer, no monitor, no anything on the bench. I mean, like what you're looking at here is there's nothing. So the clerks pull the file generally. We don't pull it so much in our office.
So instead of using a hard file, you
It's
know,
all
like you
electronic.
bring me a hard file for a probate
Right,
case, okay? Same thing for them. Teresa, if the district judges are on the bench, or Judge Duran, it would be, instead of the hard file, they could just bring it up on our computer.
Correct. And they're already,
Is that in Odyssey, or is that gonna be, what I'm asking you, is that a special program that they're gonna need for that, or is that gonna be required? I think y'all been talking IT some, is it require like a server to do that, or can we use what we already have?
so Judge Davis is the only one, I think, I don't know about the district judges because they travel, but Judge Davis is actually using what they call a judge's bench. What all that entails, I'm not sure what he does in that, but basically right now everything comes through e-file and it gets sent to the court, and they have to look at Odyssey, which is our case management system, and e-file at the same time, because the attorneys may file a motion and we accept it and then file another envelope basically, or an email, and then they have the order attached to that one. Well, the judge doesn't know what's in the motion because he's already accepted it, it's already in the other system. I think there's a way to put it all into Odyssey, but it's gotta be routed and diagrammed out. It's gotta be schematically.
Let me explain to them the difference. Odyssey and e-file, okay? So, when they're filing cases, okay, then all of the files are maintained in a program that Tyler Technologies does, it's Odyssey.
It's the state's, the e-file is the state system.
Okay.
Now, the criminal doesn't come through initially through e-file, it's just secondary filings. Now, you can make it initially go into Odyssey, there's a way to make it do that, but you have to have all the parties invested in that idea, so they don't
They gotta
have
know
to
to
do
look in
that.
there on them same pages.
So here's some of the things that I see is when I have an attorney send me an order, well, they've already filed a motion and I have to go into another program in Odyssey to look at some of the documents. So if I'm reviewing like an inventory on a, independent administration and they're filing their annual inventory, or their inventory, once they get through with the administration, they have to do that within so many days. If they don't put everything in e-file, then instead of being able to just review the order and sign off on it after I've reviewed the inventory, if they're not together in e-file, then I have to go back into Odyssey just to review the inventory. Some of the attorneys will put both those documents in e-file together, some don't. So it requires more time. So I'm just trying to give y'all an overview, is we're using multiple programs. Some of this, I haven't interacted with them other than I know they're kind of wanting to go towards paperless. And so I thought that would be something that Mark might be addressed with. But, you know.
At this point in time, we have no idea of cost or who would make it available or who could do it or anything.
In theory, you can use Odyssey on the bench. It's just you're still gonna be toggling back and forth to different softwares. And I think that's the purpose of this judge's bench. I haven't actually seen it in person, Teresa has. But I mean, counties do use it. I mean, like Judge Davis uses it in Cherokee County. It's a
That's what I
small
was-
county.
Does he use Cherokee and Leon?
I don't know if it's Leon, but he does use it in Cherokee County,
Yes.
so.
So can we just put that as one of the things until
Yeah, I just wanted y'all to get some overview of what they were talking about, because I listed it in there, but there wasn't any discussion a whole lot about that, so.
But again, every time we drop, literally, everything we scan in, it's viewed by electronic means. I mean, we very, very rarely, if ever, go pull a physical file for somebody other than the judge. That's the only people who look at the files. The rest of it's on the computer. They can search up, even the index itself. Now, the images are not there outside the county network, but inside the county network, you can go into the courthouse hallway and look up the actual documents that are not sealed by law. But the index is like, if you wanted to know if somebody had a case, it's gonna show up online. You just go pull up Mark Staples up. Does he have a case or not? And it will pull up if it's an open record. But they can't see the documents because there's no redaction on it. You still got people's social and driver license, date of birth, stuff like
I
that.
got you.
One of the other things I noted in there, the sheriff and Nick are here, but I listed, updating the cameras in the courthouses so y'all can be able to monitor for security purposes. Right now, can y'all actually pull footage from?
We can from one DVR,
Yeah.
the other DVR you have to do it on site.
Okay. And I don't wanna go into that too much, but that, they were requesting it and working with IT to upgrade our camera system. So I wanted to mention that. And I can't give you the cost
I can give you,
on that right at the moment.
we didn't get to that point, we just saw what they had to offer. We had one more meeting to see what they have to offer as far as locks go as well.
Yeah, and I was on the conference call with him on once, and what IT's looking at
Yeah.
is a pretty innovative system, so. But I don't
The
want to
sheriff
cost.
wants to get with the schools in the county as well, and, see if we can find some commonality that we can use between what the schools are using and what we ask to go to, so that maybe we can all be on the same system.
It's got a lot of upside to it, a lot of, security issues that will be addressed as we go to it that way.
I was just trying to, that's why I kind of put them under a broad, one little bullet point there, to just maybe set aside some of the ARPA money for trying to do some of these IT projects that we're working. So,
And Nick and I have been working for months on on different things with Odyssey. I mean, we're on, I don't wanna speak for you, Chief.
Go ahead.
I mean, we've been trying to work as much as we can, as time will allow us, to try to get to a point where we print less and less paper. I mean, every time we print a paper or add a folder, that's more storage we need. And I mean, as a whole society, we're getting away from storage, buildings, and things of that nature. We don't wanna build more buildings to heat and air condition and put fire suppression systems in. That's not something, you know, that we want to do. We wanna quit doing that. We're already saving electronically, so we're just adding to that footprint with the paper that we really don't, in my opinion, we don't need that anymore. We have the capabilities to do it. Maybe not in ideal situations, but we're utilizing technology right now that we could be utilizing more, we just haven't.
Basically, what we're doing right now is everything twice.
Right, at least twice.
Because everything gets printed, and then it gets scanned back in. Even if it, as he said earlier, I heard him say, even if it comes in digitally, it still winds up getting printed and then scanned back in. So now we've got two copies of the same digital document, and we have a paper copy that now we by law have to maintain according to the retention period. So if we could do away with that paper copy and the multiple digital copies, then life would be easier for the whole county. And we'll save the taxpayers a lot of money.
I just wanted to at least have that discussion. So what, do y'all wanna do anything on just IT, systems, anything like that? As a broad definition?
Is that on the deal of IT stuff? What about us?
Well, it's ARPA money, so
Yeah.
what we're talking about is.
Yeah, we can do
budgeting
anything
ARPA
with it.
money.
You and I had a discussion about the Expo Center. You said you wanna be a part of that, help me with a, presentation. What's your thoughts on that?
I mean,
You get her some medicine? Get her some medicine or ask her to be quiet without humming and grunting and crap. Well, do you have any ideas on that? I mean, have you had any more thought?
I mean, I hadn't heard anything about.
That was what your and my conversation was about. You said you'd like to be a part of it and help me with the presentation, put a presentation together. Have you put any more thought to that over in the weekends?
But nobody said anything.
Not yet, that's what I say. Is that
Okay,
something
so
that
you're
can be on the
asking-
table? Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, if that's something that you wanna put up here, then.
Yeah, just something I'd ask you if you put any thought to it. If not, I'd like to put something on there that we.
Well,
can
that's something
discuss
we've
about.
talked about, the court's talked about in the past, you know, is what we wanna do out there and how we wanna handle it, so definitely it's something that needs to be talked about.
Need to be discussed.
Yeah.
Did y'all wanna put the IT projects on there?
Yeah,
IT projects, okay.
yeah, I think.
Yeah,
that's
IT
something-
projects would be good.
Okay.
Okay.
Sir?
Megan mentioned IT project, so let's get back up to the table.
Yeah, get back some tape. Needed more tape.
You got something more?
I got it, I'm ready.
Good to go.
Get it, get it. We
So-
might need a longer.
So in the IT projects, we'll be talking about that,
Yeah.
integrated system for the courts.
Yeah.
Expo Center?
Expo, yes, sir.
It's already integrated. It's just, you have, to me, you have, I'm visual, right? So you have to see what I'm talking about in my eyes. It's hard to imagine, like, the judges can see and sign in Odyssey and in EPUB. But it's kind of, if you can imagine, you've got a 100-page, file, trying to flip through that, you kind of click on each document to view it and then exit out and click on the next one. It's
Because it's not just,
right, because if you're in a paper like that, you can just
yes, sir.
flip through it and you're there, but
Yes, sir.
you can't just flip through that in Odyssey.
No, judges spoke on it before, so I know that was concerned. He was
Right,
trying to help.
and I can understand that. I mean, if you've got 70 people on a document,
You
don't have time to go, do a lot of searching.
That's right.
Okay, so the Expo Center is not the same thing as the Civic Center, right? Because
No,
I was
it's
under
two different
the
projects.
impression when we did the budget and we added the department for the Expo Center, that was the Civic Center.
No,
That's not the same thing.
it's two different things. You don't have
What
it
did you
under,
call it, what did you call it last year? When we were talking about,
was giving it a name.
Yeah.
yeah. You said,
Doing a good
you
job.
didn't say Expo Center, you
No,
said something else.
it's the Anderson County, it was the Anderson County Park Expo, whatever it was. I
I
don't
guess
remember.
it was the word park, I guess that's what it was.
That's what Henderson County's is, Henderson County Park is Expo Center is what it is.
The Civic Center was conference center.
Yeah, the conference center.
Conference
I know, but when we,
Okay.
when we put that department in the budget, when we did the budget 2 years ago, when the court was about to go out for COs, Expo Center was put in there. And so that's why
For the
I
COs.
was relating it to the Civic Center.
Yeah. Rashad, do you know of any other projects? That pretty much covers the ones I was thinking about.
Unless y'all know of another one, we kinda go back through these now if you want to. Is that all right with everybody?
That's fine with me.
You think of another one, we had another. Good. Alright, so. I mean, I'll tell you what I know and what we've had discussion in court, I guess we all learned some from that, from the roof company that was talking to us the other day with the architects. He used the example, 105 square feet, I think, on the Van Zant County was $500,000 on their roof, and so ours is 150 square feet.
That's what I thought.
So I figure that's gonna be somewhere in the neighborhood of 750,000. But it's 40-year roof. So.
Yes.
And
He
so-
gave us, was it 800 something, wasn't it? It was
When you had it
800.
done in 2000, what kind of warranty did we get on that one, do you remember? You said you done it in 2000.
Okay, we did it in 99,
Okay.
and that's a year thing roof. Every 7 years, you have to go back and put a every year thing. Evidently, the court shows after I left, somewhere in 2009, 2010, to go in and instead of putting another layer on it, they went in and they took the urethane off, except in one spot, which you can't see if you walk up on the roof. It's right under the rotunda, on the base that the rotunda sits in, that's elevated. And the urethane's still on it. That's what I was saying. I think that's probably where some of the leaks coming from. At some point, somebody put vinyl around the rotunda, and I think that water's getting behind it, so all that's gotta come down. That's what he was talking about the other day. But they did a roof. The roof that's on there now was not the roof we put on in 99. That was put on somewhere 2009, 2010. And then a few years ago, there was a leak in the courtroom on the 3rd floor. And there was an insurance claim, because I talked to TAC about it. And it should have probably been re-roofed then. And there was a patch put on that section. But when TAC went up there with the adjuster, he could show me the heat. They actually did a heat test. And you could see that he had it mapped out on where it was supposed to have been replaced. They didn't replace it, they patched it. Okay? So that's where the first courtroom messed up. And if you walk, I mean, I've got pictures, but I didn't put another PowerPoint together. But you've got cracks all over that roof. Remember what I showed you on the veterans office? Remember all the cracks that was up there? It's the same thing. So, I mean.
But there's other roofing options too, besides this one company, isn't it correct?
Well, that's going through the cooperative purchasing agreement to get a roof on in a hurry. And in other words, instead of stretching this thing out.
But there is other options though, other than that material.
Well, you could use a modified bitumen. But
What is that?
that's gonna be like what's on it. It's like, if you've seen roll roofing, which
Yes.
we've all seen.
Yeah.
I mean, I roofed houses in high school, but that's kind of what it looks like. But first you've got layers of insulation, and you've got to build that up to where it contours towards the drain.
Towards the drain, yes.
Okay, and you got 4 drains, one on each corner. And so, that's one that the historical commission will approve. But the vinyl, and what they've got is a new process. It's got a longer that's why they can give you a 30 or 40 year warranty. So,
Well, I'm kind of.
and they've approved basically in talking to historical commission when I was up there with, I said, well, I mean, what we all approved? He said, either one. So modified bitumen or the process that he's talking about.
You just have to see the differences in it. I would
What's
go
the
about the
warranty
40-year
for the-
deal.
Modified Benjamin,
What's the warranty?
that was gonna be my
That's
question.
probably not gonna be more than 10, 20 years.
Well, I
If
mean,
it's that much.
not to say anything about the company, but a 40-year warranty, 40 years from now, nobody knows.
How long do they say they've been around?
Since like 86 or
1800?
something like, no, like 86.
No, he said like
I don't know.
1800s, didn't he?
Yeah,
He said
1892 or
18
something.
something.
Yeah, I think,
He said
I don't know.
18 something.
I think, and the question that I did ask him was on the 30-year and the 40-year, do they go in there and pull everything out? And whatever we do, my personal opinion, I think we need to go in there and pull everything out and start from, pull all that insulation out. It's, we don't know if it's wet, or gonna have mold at some point or not, but that's my opinion. Whatever we go with, I think, need to pull it out,
Tear out.
pull it all out and start from
My
scratch.
concern is after that second courtroom is, once we get a roof, they gotta go in there and assess and take samples in that ceilings on the 3rd floor. Cause there's a space, it's about that much space between the roof. I mean, you can walk in there, but you're gonna have to be
Bend over.
almost crawling. But you can go under there, and they've done some of that. But, without knowing exactly where the leak is, like you were saying, it could run through the insulation and everything else. But I'm worried that if we don't get this thing on, then I don't wanna replace that whole 3rd floor ceilings in all them rooms.
Right.
We've already got 2 courtrooms. And so,
What was that company's name?
I'm sorry,
What was that company's name?
Garland Company,
No,
I have it outside.
The roofing company?
yeah,
wasn't it Garland?
Garland.
That was Steve Shedd, I think, and DRG's architect. The key to of doing that is, since we already have a cooperative purchasing agreement in place, and he's part of that cooperative purchasing agreement, then it's not gonna extend our time out for the architects to go out and take a lot longer to get the roof on. The longer we get the roof on. But right now, I mean, we've gotta decide that.
Yes.
A little bit later, but the main thing is budgeting the money to fix it. And I can tell you, I don't know what it's gonna be in the ceiling on the 3rd floor. It's expanding in the rotunda out in the hallway, right outside Duran's courtroom. And so we've got at least 4 places that the ceiling is got where the brown rust from the metal is leaking through the ceiling. One's in the bathroom, one's in the rotunda, and both of the courtrooms. So that's it's kind of limited to that side of the courthouse right now. So, also, we gotta do the stained glass, and like I told you about that, I don't know, they hadn't got any quotes or any estimates or anything on that, I don't know what it's gonna be. And then.
But that's the optional, that's something we can do if we need to do that. The roof is
the number one.
number one, and then the stained glass was that way, been that way when you was here last time, so. That's optional if we wanna do that or can do that, or not want to. So.
I was just trying to get everything 100% what we got. It's kinda like, I look at it this way, God's given us a blessing with ARPA money to try to get some stuff done, whatever it is. And I wanna try to get us to a place, and by 2026, that money's after that year, that money's gone for sure. And so I wanna leave us in a place where we don't, our regular budget's gonna take care of us to maintain what we got. That's what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
Okay.
Found it 1895.
And we didn't have this when I was here before.
I knew it was 1800s.
That was 80s,
So,
I guess so.
but I can tell you, in the basement, and I don't know if it's because it's running down the roof, in the walls, I don't think that's what it is, because it was there before. But there's moisture problems in the basement, in the walls, in the county clerk's office. Am I telling?
Yes,
I mean, we were in there.
Since I've been there, Judge,
Yeah,
almost
and
18 years.
It's around, we don't know if it's the French drains, because the French drains could be stopped up with sand that sifted down through the gravel and just stopped it up, so they're gonna have to do some assessment on that. I'm just telling you what's there.
Yeah.
I hate being the bearer of bad news, but that's just something, I look at it, we gotta adapt and overcome, so, but it's in at least 3 corners of the basement area in the offices. And it's on the wall from where you got your maps and all in that one room, all the way over into your basement records. So we found that in the clerk's office. And it's,
Well,
and so I just wanna, we got a ballpark.
yeah. Well,
That's why I put 2 million on it, because I figure the roof's gonna be at least somewhere in the neighborhood of $750,000.
we definitely need to get whatever we're gonna get done on the roof first.
Right, get it
We
fixed.
understand that, and then see where we go from there, so.
What do y'all think about the courthouse?
Well,
Somewhere between 1 and 2 million or
I
something?
just put 1 million on it, and that'll cover the roof, and then if we decide to move money around, because this money can be moved from anywhere we put it. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So it don't matter where we put it today, if we put them for different projects, it doesn't
Until
matter.
it's spent, we can move it around.
Yes, we can take it out of, if we put it in the road and bridge, we can still pull it from road and bridge and move it over if that's what we wanna do.
A million?
$1 million's good with me. What about you, Kenneth?
Million sounds good to me, that should cover the roof project, and then we
Wait
can
till-
tackle them other
No, sir. Yes,
projects
sir.
one at a time.
At least I didn't make you flip down to the ground,
ha,
hurt my back. You're taking medicine, so.
oh, yeah, right. So,
Where you at?
let's make sure while we're on the courthouse to look at the, cause that's where we had jury duty at this morning, that door, I see where they put that metal detector.
Well, that can be involved in that courthouse. I think that's a necessary.
I
It
wanna
is,
get-
'cause
I
they
wanna
got
get
the-
quotes.
Yeah, we've already
I'm
passed
making
that
it.
before. Yeah.
Yes, sir, but I'm saying how much you need for that.
Well, it ain't gonna be.
No, I'm
nothing
just gonna
now.
come back out of opioids.
That's right.
Okay, that's what I was just
You
saying.
can put a door just like they are on the other
Did
side.
you need any money for that desk too?
That's
I'm just
optional.
gonna ask that opioid on that too, so we don't have to put off.
Even with that million, if the roof comes in at 800,000,
You
there's
still got 200,000. And all they're doing is putting the
200,000.
door like they did going in the basketball.
Yeah,
So all.
he explained that.
Yeah, just for security, yeah. That's, and then we passed that back in 22.
You know, think of what just because we're talking about offering, you brought it up, about trying to take it out of Harvard. But I got with Avalis, I went to the ambulance service, I measured the garments at 24 inches wide. I got called Avalis to measure the magnetometer, cause it looked like it was less than that, so it was 30 inches, so it'll go through the magnetometer. And I talked to Sue, because I said, what if you got a fire in the courthouse, how you gonna get people out? She said, I've got to have the same width door as what the double doors are. The swinging doors, they're 48 inches, so I told the contractor, he's gonna have a special 48-inch door made.
Yes.
Alright,
They
so
make
they're
it,
already
yeah.
giving me the quote on and he's already given me the quote. Now, can't you get any feedback? Judge Davis court reporter, I told you she was gonna talk to, the other day, that she was gonna talk to the, other court reporter. Well, they hadn't had their talk yet, and my contract was over a measure. And so, anyway, that hadn't all happened. I hadn't got the feedback on the bench yet. So
I'm taking
I'm
that
just telling y'all,
piece out and,
of building that bench and
Right.
putting out there. So I'm still waiting on feedback to make sure that's gonna be a doable thing.
And it can be doing two sections,
All right.
the door needs done. and
Right.
But I wasn't gonna try to take that out of ARPA money, but you brought it up, so I just wanna make sure you know where we're going.
Okay.
Because we did have the other projects up on there. Alright, so we got 1.6 million in road and bridge equipment, 1 million in the courthouse. Alright, so
Ag extension.
Need a smaller marker now.
yeah. Okay.
Judge, if before we get to IT, I'm gonna step out 1 second. I'm just gonna step in the restroom, but I had someone who messaged me about the jury bench, judge's bench, and I just wanted a little information on it.
Okay.
I messaged someone in another
Well,
county to find out about
Can
the
we just
judge's
take
bench.
back the restroom breaks right quick?
that's a good one.
About 5 or 10.
I just wanna get some information on judge's bench where I know what Mark was talking
Talking
about.
about the IT stuff?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, we'll recess. That clock on the wall says 11:08, so about 10 minutes.
Like I was gonna put that, I was gonna change, I was gonna write all that, and say what all that says.
Wait, what? What are we gonna do?
So that's
It
what,
was pledge collateral, I was just gonna.
Good, I'm glad you're back.
Cause at our conferences, they've always said use letters. I was gonna take out.
Yeah, she's been telling me that.
Yeah, 11 instead of this whole thing.
we talked about courthouse, let's talk about ag extension office. And, I think that would, the thing about it is, it's a viable project, and I recognize the court, want to do something for the ag extension office. And a lot's been done to the building, it's a nice building. Training room's nice downstairs, offices, I went ahead and addressed, I'm working with Jody, like I said, with a contractor, I got them to come over to do some measurements for me. And they started researching the ADA stuff, so we're okay on the 5-foot turn radius, but we gotta get grab on the first floor. And that makes the first floor in good shape, okay? So, I guess my opinion is it is a nice building, and that was one of the things that I saw that the court did even before I took office, that helped get the ag extension office where they need to be, okay? So, I'm not against the project, that wasn't what I'm saying is, I'm kind of walked in on this, and I just think it's not a bad project. I think let's finish the job. My frustration is we've been going, and I'm working on all these different projects. I want to get past the project so I can work on economic development. I can work with the court on other stuff. I can focus on court dockets and things like that. But this is taking a lot of time on task away from some of the other stuff I'd like to work on. Okay, so that's my frustration. So I would just like to fix the elevator. Commissioner, we didn't reject the bid the other day.
No,
we passed on. And I appreciate it. What I'd like to do is finish the job. And we got ARPA money, like I said, God give us a gift to get some of this stuff done. I'd just like to see us fix the elevator and move on past that project. And if we need to do some other little things, then if you want to put a little money with the money to fix the elevator, and from a budget standpoint, if we got a few other things we need to do to the building, we can do that. We got some permanent improvement. If we budgeted ARPA money on getting the elevator done, we can look at maybe a little bit more down the road. We got 3 years, and all of it's not gonna get spent right away. We got some permanent improvement money we could use, but I'd like to get the elevator fixed so they're back in business. That's my.
The whole purpose for that, I mean, to get them out of where they were at, you know, that was terrible.
I understand.
Yeah, they had rats and stuff on them. They had to sweep the rats and stuff off their desk every night. They were just sick. But they had nowhere to go for their trainings and stuff, and that provided that services. Then where they were at, they had 6 parking spots. Now they got 80. I mean, I know you're familiar with that because you striped the parking lot.
We just striped the parking lot.
That's right.
It's nice.
Yes, it does. And if you increase the signages, the shades, the whole bit, we needed the rails. Now you've got that working downstairs. To get the bathrooms and ADA, they had to have the 32-inch openings. It's got it. You're going to take the stall out. So we'll be up and down ADA on our bathroom facilities, which would be great, and still have the 100 seating capacity for their trainings. And they don't have to borrow the room here, borrow the Tennessee Conley, civics, whatever they got.
The community center.
Community center, or try to borrow. They used to be able to use Benny Keith's a lot, and then they shut it down. So, I mean, they went to Baptist churches, and I mean, I wanted them to have a home. And, and I think that was one thing that was big to Anderson County, was to have our extension agents a home that they can depend on. And they're really comfortable over there. And we also hosted some other outside offices in there with the emergency management office. Was really a big asset to us. When we had the big fires, they had the helicopters here, everything, and they're here. And then we had Cody Harrison there, which I think is accessible to our county, because he represents our county. Right. But other than that, having the garden club, I commend the women. They do an excellent job with what they surrender and do too. So. Well,
I mean, when I walked in the door, and I think y'all seen it, I tried to take the bull by the horns.
I thought you
take
have.
over the maintenance projects and just.
And I appreciate that. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And y'all supported me on it. And I tried to take some of it out of the opioid funds. It's kind of like we've been blessed with a few other things that we could use some of that money for. So,
well,
I just want
I do too. I wanna get it completed, and my issue with the elevator was just the $250,000. Cause I've seen, you know, I'm just telling you, you know.
You mean your
Yeah,
opinion?
I've seen the elevator work, I've been in the elevator.
Works great.
Me comparing it to the one we have in the courthouse, this is a much better elevator, and it's just hard
more
for me.
modern.
It's just hard for me to realize that it's $250,000 to fix it, okay? So we got these bids, and it explained to us in court that day there was hidden costs with the $107,000. Well,
Both of them.
huh?
Both of them had
Yeah.
costs.
So we contacted both of them, both elevator companies. The one that was 200-something thousand said, yes, there was hidden cost in there, not hidden.
Yeah, it was just the fire
Unknown.
suppression. Yeah.
Unknown.
Yeah.
Unknown on the fire suppression, that's what he referred to.
But he did talk to an
Inspector.
inspector, and the inspector said as long as we didn't change the fire,
He said if it didn't travel over 25 feet, it wasn't required.
it wasn't.
So it would pass without the fire suppression on the, if it's under 25 feet, that's the state law.
But
That's what he
something about
said.
it was grandfathered in if we didn't mess with something.
That's exactly right, that's what he
And
said.
if it didn't travel on 25 feet with the plunger also, right?
That's what he said.
Yes,
What
plunger.
bid is this?
TK elevator,
And then the
219,000.
other one, the one that was 107,000.
Yeah, Calvert elevator.
He said there was no hidden cost,
None.
that was a turnkey job.
He said the only job he couldn't pay for would be the inspector because it's a conflict of interest. He could not pay the inspector
We
to
would have to
inspect
pay
the
the
job
inspector.
because of the conflict of interest. He said, but it's a turnkey 107, no hidden cost.
Yeah, but that's a Lula, that is.
Yeah, but I asked him how fast it traveled. He said it traveled 40
Feet per
feet
minute.
per minute. Well, we're going 10 feet. So
That's it.
I said, it's 15 seconds. He said, no. He said, I think it'd be more like 20 seconds. Well, me looking at 170,000 compared to 250, I mean, our goal is to get the handicap thing. He said you would not notice any difference on this elevator.
So the
He
car
said it
capacity be the
works
same,
like
still a
the
car, still
elevator.
going, it's no
He
different.
said, it's just like the one you got. He said, but it is a little bit slower, which I haven't timed that one. I haven't timed any elevators, as a matter of fact. But he said that it's just like an elevator. Well, our goal is to get our building ADA passed. So, you know, if 20 seconds is too long for you, take stairs. You know, it's not more of a convenience to go one floor as it is necessity for the people who can't get down the stairs. So after talking that, I didn't see where any more hidden costs were in the 100.
Well, there is none hidden cost on the ones, either one of the two, and I don't know who.
But if you look at the list, he's talking about all the things that he listed that the county has to provide. I mean, we don't know what those costs come, he's talking about forklifts and all this other stuff, bringing them in
I
the
didn't
building.
see that.
Who was that,
Yeah.
TK?
That was, capital elevators. And TK did, I mean, he had a list of things that the county had to provide also.
Yeah,
But the Lula.
I didn't see none of
The
that.
Lula is not designed, it's a lighter weight thing, and that's what the acronym is for, is limited use, limited application. The only thing is people are gonna get in it, and it's gonna be used all the time, because they're just gonna get in it to go down. They're not gonna use the stairs, and a lot of those people are, I mean, I use the elevator instead of the stairs a lot too. As you get older, you tend to do some of that stuff, okay? So, it's gonna be in use all the time. And we didn't bid a Lula, we bid fixing our elevator, so I don't think we're in a workshop, but we're kinda talking about bids now, but I just wanna fix it right. And from my investigations, a Lula is not gonna last you like a regular elevator is gonna last you. And they're not gonna go in there and fix the railer, they're gonna put in a railer that's above ground, and it's a lighter weight. In other words, instead of that large railer, you're gonna have a smaller railer in there, from what I understand.
well,
And
what I
it's-
understood when I talked, he said, you're gonna notice no difference this as to what you have. And I'm just, like, that's what he told me. He said, you're gonna notice no difference. I don't know this gentleman, didn't know either one of them, that I spoke with, but that's what I'm at, is the 107 compared to 250. I mean, even if this Lula broke down after 5 years, I mean, if you replace for another 107, and I'm not saying it will break
That's right.
down, but I'm just saying you still at the cost of what one.
But there was still some repairs that we never even got. It was like some of them didn't bid like the elevator car being compared to the elevator in the courthouse. I mean, the car needs, the door rollers should be replaced and it could have the plunger gripper on it. And that passes inspection. And they could go in and take the components that are on the old system and just take the components off of the wall and put a new pump system for that piston. Their question is the piston double wall?
Yeah,
Is the piston this? That's why not knowing what the conditions of the piston in the ground is, then that's what the plunger gripper's for. So if it has a instant drop, it stops it and does, whatnot, where we started talking about being trapped in elevators and all. Well, the rest of them didn't bid it. Well, for the plunger gripper install and all that, I mean, it was down to $68,000. So, I mean, there's other options besides having to spend $250,000 on the elevator. That's why I would say, before we spend $250,000 on, then build another building in the grassy area and have a walkover to it. If that been the case, that's a lot of money to spend for a one-trip travel, to me. That's my opinion.
It is a one-story elevator.
And if that's the case, and it's so, worried about elevator conditions, then that one over there needs to be, because it goes 3-4 stories. And it's old.
That's a cable system, it's
I
not a
understand
hydraulic
that.
system. And they just went over and did repairs to that one, and
But it's old.
it's operational, yeah. I wrote it when I was 10 years old, so.
Me-
I guess my philosophy's been, and has been when I was here even before, is fix it. If we're gonna fix something, fix it 100%, we don't pass it on to another court. And so, 10 years down the road or whatever, I'd like to fix it. We got the money. The money's not the issue. We got the money. Why not go ahead and do 100%? We got a turnkey from Otis. And the others, frankly, the others left way too much unknown. I'm just looking at it. You look at the list, go back and look at the bid, you look at the list of the things they said the county's got to supply. Who's gonna be in charge of doing all that stuff? That's what we got the bids for, is for them to give us a quote on fixing that elevator 100%.
But
If we were doing that, if y'all get a quote on maintain, you wouldn't want them to tell you, well, we're gonna do this, but you gotta provide this, this, and this, because you really don't know what the costs are. If you're gonna get a bid on something and fix something, let's get a bid turnkey. I'm not an expert on elevators, but I'm sure I'm learning a whole lot about it. But I'd like to budget the money, at least fix the elevator. If we gotta do anything else, we can take it out of permanent program. And so I'm just asking y'all, let's fix the thing right, turnkey, but we don't have to worry about providing anything.
So
We don't have to
both
do.
the other companies gave you a turnkey deal on this morning, so it's still optional for either way.
Well, like I say, you said yours is, to get it fixed 100%. Mine is being responsible for the money that we're responsible for.
That's exactly right.
That the taxpayer put in, and another $130,000
Is
on the
about-
elevator. If it was an elevator in my house, I'm gonna look for the simplest solution to get whatever fixed.
You
And
have to.
if it was nothing there, it bothers me that we got an elevator that works fine. It just won't pass ADA inspection. I understand what they're saying. They don't have the brake, that's under the blood. I understand all that.
So you're working with enough information. There's no phone in it. There's no veil. This is gonna work. There's no light in it, except for the light that stays on when the electricity's on. There's gotta be an emergency light that comes on, fire goes off. You gotta have fire suppression.
I don't know that you have to have fire suppression in it.
Well, that'd be.
The state inspector indicated you need, I got a list from him, and there's a lot of the same list on the one that Inspector Greg got out of Houston when y'all were working on this before I took office.
Yes.
So a lot of the same listed things the state inspector that's gonna inspect that elevator look over that entire list of that I got from everybody, cause I wanted to make sure it's comprehensive. And even when we were putting it out to bid, I asked him to review that. Does he see anything that was inappropriate or something that we were missing that needed to be on the bid pack? Misty actually took a lot of pain. She talked to some other counties, right? She was trying to find out what a comprehensive bid package was. She went to great lengths to do that. And after I saw some of the stuff that she found, I thought that was pretty good. That's what she put in the bid pack, to make sure we were getting a solid job.
Well,
And it's a county building, and we're responsible for it.
yeah, it's just my point of it is, we've got something that does work, it is operational, and to fix it, it's $250,000. So that's my stumbling block, Judge. So that's what I've gotta get over personally, is that stumbling block that,
Well, let me ask you this.
okay.
If you don't wanna take all of it out of ARPA, can we take part of it out of permanent improvement?
To me, it's not really where it comes from, where the money comes from, it's just
The price.
After talking to Jim this morning, I don't have a problem with the Lula. I've never seen it just by what he told me. He could be telling me something that's not true. Because if it's just to get this building in compliance, and you're correct, people are gonna use the elevator. I mean, people do. To go one floor, they will wait on it and go when there's a perfectly good set of steps there. But I've got to get over the obstacle of the 250,000 compared to even 107,000, which I don't like. I mean, I don't like spending 107,000 on it, but I want the most reasonable option. And I know we went out for bids twice, and I know there's not that many options out there as far as companies. There's not 100 companies to give us their perspective.
Oh, I can tell you, there's a whole lot of other companies that came and looked at that elevator. Because I let James take every one of them. I didn't want anything to do.
Well, why didn't you, Judge? Why didn't you want something to do with it?
No, I didn't want to go over there and somebody accuse me of being part of the bid process, okay?
Well, I would like to
I let
win.
James take them over there. They could do whatever they wanted and look at whatever they wanted. And so there was several, I thought we were gonna get 3 or 4 more bids.
Well, I'd like to just ask their opinion of is there any other options we're not aware of? You know, cause I heard about the brake system last year, and I thought that was a viable option. But anyways.
Well, she
that's
put it
where I
on there,
stand.
on their bid deal, I mean, the gripper thing, because, I mean, she evidently Misty got some information on it.
Well, I'm just asking if we can budget enough, so when we decide on the bids, if we're gonna put that.
Today, we could, as far as I'm concerned, we could
Budget
budget for it, until we come up with a solution.
Okay. So what do you want to say, 270,000, just around it, or 265? What was it, the bid was, the highest bid was 262.
275.
260, 265.
We come up with
Yeah.
a.
275?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's gonna put he's gonna put 275, and that way it'd just be there, and, I mean, it don't matter where it puts it, it don't matter.
Okay. All right. Civic Center. All right, I mean, we kind of talked about it a little bit in court. I mean, my opinion on that, I want to hear y'all's, is trying to utilize the building, if we're for offices and meeting rooms, kind of a compromise between the difference in what y'all were looking at on a conference center to try to meet the needs of our growth, because we're growing. And I think the elections, it'd be nice to put emergency management back where they're at. At some point, we may need some more offices here. IT's got a small office back here, and so if we need to expand there, or I'd like to put emergency emergency management back in their regular offices, so we could take, and move elections out there to the civic center, when there might be something else, you know,
I think there's room out there to put more offices.
Well,
You know,
there's-
more.
for the future of the county, we gotta look down the road. And what would we do now if we didn't have this building? I mean, we got a lot, that courthouse was busting into the scene. And we're kinda getting to that point again. And it would give us some options if we had some meeting rooms out there for, if there's something, even the extension office, a big deal, if the extension office wanted, it doesn't hold everybody down there in their meeting room, they can go out there and have, maybe some, conferences.
Anything.
County and district clerk's office, had that, District 6 meeting, across the hall. But I brought a list, I kinda wanted to show you what we're doing here, with all the meetings that, and Judge Grant has been doing trials. We've had all sorts of meetings, jail diversion meetings, Texas Doc came over and they did a town hall meeting over here, with business partners in there, in the community. And so having some meeting rooms out there would not be a bad thing either, you know, because.
We have nowhere to host anything other than 103 North.
Right.
I mean, we've had, I've, you know, for my 10 years, or 11 years I've been here, we've had, real estate companies, want to have real estate conventions, conferences, all that, and we've had people wanting to have, you know, host 500 square dancers and all that kind of stuff that sounds silly, or from anything it is, there's nowhere for it. We can't do it. So if you want to have a Boy Scout meeting, we can't have it. We can't host you.
So,
My mindset is, I would like to see, we can still have offices in there, because that was the initial plan, was to have offices in there. Where you come in now, in that front foyer there, they're gonna take that upstairs and those offices there, all that, use that as
But you have
offices.
the upstairs, gonna have the same problem with that elevator stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know, we're gonna have to
Can't
work on
use
that
it.
next.
you can't, and we know kind of what an elevator's gonna cost now.
So, but,
I don't think we need to, I tried to teach some classes back a few years ago in those upstairs.
but
And
I
then
can
when
say,
I had somebody come in for a class.
You have
we had
police
to carry
academies, you know, they
but
try
if we're
try to
building a
have
building, like
everything.
you said a while ago, we need to build it right, Judge.
Yes,
So we need to go ahead and put an elevator on it.
No, it
Put
needs,
in there.
if it, on the second, on the, all right, the auditorium, it's, you might as well just feed hogs in it, because it's not AD inspection, it has, the grade's wrong.
It was wrong.
It's not good for anything,
We
so you
flat
flatten
that
the
out
floor,
and use it out.
that puts you at 14 foot 1 inches on the back.
That's right.
Okay, so if you enter from the back side, you have to have an elevator to get to that second floor. Well, whenever that architect come in and drew all that out, Judge seen it, he'd seen the videos, everybody's seen the videos of it. It was beautiful, pretty, you know, fancy, all that, but it was more than what we could
It was
afford.
more. Yeah, yes,
So, this is the thing.
we got
If
people.
we can kind of fall back and punt, maybe take a different strategy. I've talked to some people, but I don't, it may be proprietary, so I'm not gonna talk about what they said. But there may be some other ways of going in. And have you ever been in the Jordan Brown facility in Houston?
All the time.
Yeah, okay. I did some school board conferences there. But even then, I was looking at, you know, if you had something, you can take and you can have floors, and then and you can make them ADA compliant, okay? Without going in there and I know y'all talked about, you know, going in and filling it up and kind of leveling it out without doing that. And so there may be some less expensive ways to.
You talking about to leave the slope floor?
No, but changing the way they approach.
I mean, but it don't have to be filled up. It could have just been, you know, built a floor in there.
Yeah.
It could just been overboard underneath it. We
I
just looked at the
understand. We
option.
can't get into too much on the contractor stuff, but I think the general idea, I would like to be able to show the public that we're gonna try to address our growth and at the same time have meeting rooms, because, I mean, that is, you're right, I mean, there's not a lot of places to meet rooms.
There's none.
No, I think we
So,
all agree
We talked to
on
the
the
realtor,
meeting
we
room, just
talked to the
cost.
hotel people. But
Right.
we gotta understand, when we talk to them, you have one of them who actually had a facility that they're using. And they wanna try to keep their business coming to the facility. But then when you talk to other people who don't use that facility, they're looking for a place because there's no other places. So we have, if you actually had a court meeting and you open a court meeting up to outside input on what they want the county to do with the citizen, I can get you a group of realtors right now. I can get you a group of church member people, a group of all common people all the way around Anderson County, from every aspect of Anderson County. They will tell us that we need a place for them to gather. We need a place where they can rent out and have events. I actually have a lady that contacted last night and was asking about another building. I said, well, you're going to talk to Judge on it. I can't help you. I had another group ask about another car show. I said, you're going to talk to Judge on it. I'll give what you give the numbers. I hadn't gave them to you yet. I was going to after today. But there are people out there who keep asking what's going on with Simpson. Why'd y'all stop? What are y'all doing? I know there was a group of people who didn't want it, but I think that's a small group when you talk to the actual people who need it.
Well,
I mean, because you look at some schools, we used to have school graduations and everything out there because there was no other place for it. And the school dances. I mean, you had to look, Elkhart had to go to Lakeview this year. There's no place for it.
but, I mean, there's nobody that can have a graduation out there, even with the city had. It's too small. 1,250 seats is all you got in there. And so, I mean, the graduations were out big. That's why I'm saying, okay, if we take and compromise, and we go out there and take a large portion of it and make offices, put the elections out there. The thing about it is, 103B, the one back here, Casey ties it up a lot because she's having to go through and maintain her machines. She's got to train judges. So anytime around elections, we're gonna have primaries, we're gonna have general elections. We've got an election coming up starting in October, November on the constitutional amendments. So some of that, this gets tied up, okay? But she has to take them down. I mean, take them out of the boxes, get them all deployed. If she had a space where she could do that, about that size, where she could come in and have everything set up, train her judges without having to rush and put stuff back up and lock it all up, she could have that, along with a room where she can store the ballot boxes and everything, like where they're secured. It could have 24-hour surveillance with cameras. That way, nobody's gonna question. Because election integrity is a big deal, so that would give her an opportunity to have a secured storage with something that's gonna show that nobody's gone in there and done anything. And then at the same time, she could have a room for early voting right out there. And it's handicap accessible, so that's not gonna be a problem. And we got a huge parking lot, so, that would be an asset. And then we could kind of see what other offices might need to be out there. And we might need to put another courtroom out there or whatever, so the court, maybe the district courts, somebody want, if we go paperless. I'm just thinking outside the
As
box.
cheap as the building was, I mean, it's $210,000. It's a 30,000 square foot building. It has heating and air in it. You can set it at 70 in the middle of the summer, 70 in the middle of the winter. It's gonna work. But to make the building accessible to accommodate different events, would be important. If y'all remember, the economic development offered us 5 acres.
How much? How much?
Gave it to us. They said, we'll give you 5 acres, Commissioner. That's what they pledged you. Go pick it out. It's down that street. To even start to clear it, to clean it up, to build a parking lot, and even pour the slab, we could do it for $210,000. That's why we settled to not go out and take the free land they've given us in the business park and buy it for turnkey $210,000, parking lot in place.
A
lighted parking lot with an additional, they didn't like it when we negotiated, but we wanted an additional 5 acres of land with it.
Got it.
So they gave us the 5 acres, giving us 10 acres on the corner of the loop, 30,000 square foot building, 210,000. I thought it was a no-brainer, because at this point, we have an option. And like Judge said, we're gonna be running out of room as we
We are
grow.
running out here.
So what I'm trying to do is from the budget, so we're trying to budget something, okay?
Mhm.
Alright, so you found out that it's gonna cost a lot more
Well,
with
that
the
was,
original plan, with the original, I understand, there's,
that was just silly. I got up,
That big
that's,
discussion.
didn't even make a difference.
so let's fall back upon as a commissioner's court. And let's, so, I put 1.2 million, I'm ballparking, because I know it might be more construction cost for us. So, I'm just trying, if y'all think $1 million, $1.5 million.
Okay, well, we went out for COs, and we got $6 million for the COs at 1.7%.
So the money sit,
But we've
money's
taken
sitting
some of that out.
We have 5.8 left.
Okay, so we got 5.8.
Cause we had to do whatever with all the
Yes, yes,
stuff that they done, the court and come in court, all the stuff. Okay, so we got the money. They come in with these elaborate plans. I just, there was no way. So there's, like you go on those other event centers like you're talking about, you see the black construction site. They had the clouds and Mark Henderson called me and said, do you know that one of those, lighting fixtures was over $7,000? I said, no, I don't know. But that was because he got the bid package. It was crazy. So
I understand.
I think we can fit it in where we're at.
Let's fall back and forth.
Put the
Start all over.
1.2 there as a start, if that's what you're saying, because honestly, my opinion, my take is, it's not saying nothing bad or saying anything with anyone, but if it wasn't an election year, that building, we'd have crossed that line, jumped it, fixed it, we'd have came back, trimmed everything off of it. They'd probably be done with production on that building now for us to be in there.
Why do you say that?
I really didn't
There
think
ain't
so.
a shallow bone and nobody here. I don't believe that.
No, I don't
It's
think
not
it was
because
us.
it's an election.
I don't think it was us. No, I think that the ball dropped because the county judge race was going on.
All right, let's just start.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
I think so.
Let's start all over.
Because we never got a chance to come back to it.
5.8 million.
Because Robert was tied up with other stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
Sir?
I stopped talking because he's
I
gotta
have
take
no
the minutes.
problem starting over, cause I didn't like what was presented.
Yes.
We
I didn't
wasn't
either.
told that to start with, we was given a projection, we thought we was heading the right direction. When the actual bid come back, we was blown out of the water, but that wasn't what
That all
was
was at the
told.
end of the year last year, and then we had this transition.
That's
So
what
we've
happened.
held up.
The
But the
transition held us
transition
up.
wasn't because we didn't wanna do it, because of, Kerry's coming in, getting settled
No,
in.
it wasn't to do with
Even
him.
made, I
It
think
was
we
that
had
we
the
had a transition
conversation.
come in, that race, it was we had other stuff going on, we didn't come back to the table, redraw it, and get it done. We did.
Right, but there
But
was,
I'm
Are y'all good with trying to start over on this?
I agree.
I'm okay with starting over.
Okay.
It
That's
just
all.
needs another design. It needs,
Yes.
I mean, we got some good ideas
Will
from it.
y'all give me the authority to start trying to work with that, towards that and bring something to the court? And I'm not saying necessarily a plan, but I'm talking about completely start over.
That'd be fine. I would like it to be very open.
Well, could I work with you on it?
Yes,
Because I would love to have that project. If I could work with you on it.
I just don't
I
want
don't
it to
have a problem, I don't want anybody to say that we're doing something outside of the meeting.
Well, I don't think we
Two of
will.
us can do that.
Right.
Yeah.
We can
If you
designate
wanna
it.
work with him, that's between
Well, I
y'all.
would like for y'all to get
I
together.
don't have a problem with
I
doing
think
it,
we
I just don't want
definitely-
anybody to say we're doing something.
I think we're all on the
okay with
same page
Yeah.
about having a room where people in this community can have something that's big enough to support them and take care of some of the office space we need available to the courthouse, to Anderson County. And that's a perfect building for it, perfect parking, perfect
Accessible.
place. So
Great.
I have no problem with y'all getting together and
Okay.
bring it back to court, what y'all think, and
So,
So do we wanna put the
So from a
1.2
budget
million?
do y'all wanna leave the 1.2, you wanna put a million, what do y'all want to think?
I would leave it at what we
Borrowed,
borrowed, 5.8.
there's 5.8 million left of the CO.
Yeah, could we borrow 6.2 or 6.1?
Man.
Well, there's actually five, of course, what we budgeted, but the total left is 5.67 million, 5,673,130. So we budgeted 2.6 million right now. I'm just thinking if the cost, instead of taking out a permanent improvement, if we had some of this set aside, we don't have to use it for that, hopefully.
Well, I just think,
I think we
I'd like
can
to
do it
stay
cheaper, Kenneth, than what we got borrowed.
I do too,
We can.
because it
I
was.
mean, they was gonna completely do the bathrooms, the whole bit, and all that's not necessary.
There are a lot of bells and whistles in there.
Yeah.
It's not
I agree.
necessary. And the composites that were on the outside, all, that doesn't have to be done.
So what do y'all want, do you wanna put some towards the building, just in case?
Just leave the 1.2,
The 5.2.
or, oh, you talking about on the bonds?
On the
Yes.
CO.
Of,
CO.
So you
CO.
just
Those are in the bank, we got
Yeah.
what, 5.8 million? Okay.
There's 5.8 million COs that we designated for that. He's asking, do you
I'm
want to put
asking,
another
you wanna
million?
put some
that's
extra.
additional cost.
I think, I'd like to come in below this 5.8 million.
I think so.
My personal opinion, I think we could shoot for something under that, because that.
Well, I would be hopeful, but I don't know.
So I don't think
So,
that,
if we got some money here, I just,
well, I mean, we got other stuff that's waiting on that deal, so I mean, I don't
That's a
necessarily
lot
think
of
we
money,
need.
and that's, I mean, I think I felt before we could get a lot done with that money. We
I
were,
agree.
You know, but then they brought back that
$10 million deal.
lot, but anyways,
So y'all don't wanna put no extra money on it, you wanna see what's there
if
first.
you're asking me, I don't, but I don't know about them.
do what we,
Okay,
you wanna come back to it?
Now, let's talk about the rest and see what
We
we
can
got,
come back
and
to
we'll
it.
come back,
See what we
because we
got.
know we do have 5.8 that we can't
But at
use.
this time, y'all are
Yeah,
directing
yeah,
Judge
yeah.
to get back into it and look at it, and I'm gonna be working with him on it.
That's,
Is that all right?
that's
fine with me.
perfectly
Yes,
fine.
and just
Alright.
like to keep the updates of where we can be at,
Yes.
so we know what you got going on and thoughts, and I don't think sharing thoughts are gonna, thoughts of construction,
Yes, sir.
it's not gonna be, you know, so much something that's gonna be breaking the law, you know?
All right.
You wanna come back to this, you wanna go to IT projects, how much y'all wanna put on IT projects? 500,000?
Before we, I can go to IT projects on, so when I asked for the break to step out, IT projects for the district judges, so what I got information was that there's parts of Odyssey that they don't use currently. Is this correct, Mark? But in those parts of Odyssey, that Odyssey would actually take care of everything they need, so they wouldn't have to have another software. But what they need is a touch screen computer to fill the pages. Like, say for instance, so Mark was talking about those pages.
So that's like,
So he has,
services.
yes, sir. He need a touch screen computer up on the bench because there's not one there. He need an actual one that's stationary, stay there. And instead of going through 100 pages of something, and then when you're on a screen, you can only click and see one thing. If it's touch screen, he can flip through the whole volume of the pages right there. They can flip through it. There will still be some paper documents that will have to go downstairs and everything else. Carton High will be used, and then some district judges have not all agreed to go on paperless.
I
So
understand,
some of
and that's,
some of them are still going to be using the old way, but Judge Davis said he would implement this and go paperless, and he would work with it when he's on the bench and up there. And he said what they use in Jacksonville, the budget for that, the guy I talked to in Jacksonville, they have a cloud and they use a backup. They have a cloud system, but they also use a backup, I guess some kind of backup something at the courthouse to keep in case the cloud system crashes. But he said that only costs $25,000 to $50,000 at
yeah,
max.
but we got backup, so that should be.
Yeah. So he said $25,000 to $50,000 max to implement all that. It should work perfect, and that's in Cherokee County
Okay, so,
for the district judges.
so that's more of an internal type thing than
Yes,
for
sir,
us to deal with.
for the district judges.
All right.
But I mean, you still have the other questions, so we're here. Yes, sir.
What are you talking about? How much more?
Yeah, he asked for some money for for IT period. I was just addressing the district judges part.
And the money you just asked for was basically to hire another technician or whatever.
Well, what I was hoping is to hire somebody now, and then when we work in the budget process, that'd be in the proposed budget for next year.
Well, we discussed it last year at budget time, you know, we wasn't sure, I mean, we didn't do that for them, we didn't hire that.
I was,
And that's, like I say, I think as a court, we've had a lot of questions about our IT how well is the county's being served by them. And I think that's where we was at then, as to, you know, exactly, we know nothing about IT, but we don't know how much they know neither as to get us. Cause all we seen was last year, they brought us a proposal to get all of our stuff taken care of, $800-something thousand, and,
We're working through that stuff.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
Okay,
2 years ago.
so
That's
we're
why we
working
went
through
with the
some of that.
outside.
We've actually taken, by some of the things we've done, we're able to take and restructure the budget some. Because we're saving over $230,000 just on what
We was paying the outsourced company to help.
we was paying out.
Okay, but we've already spent 160 of
The
that.
thing about it is the time on task on deploying equipment, cause they got computers they gotta replace. They got all the stuff for the sheriff's department that they're deploying right now. That's time on task. Let me use an example, okay? I've been trying to think about this. How did, you said you had one mechanic, right?
yes, sir, yes, sir.
And you got two at the shop here, right?
No, actually, I mean, yes,
How
we
many-
use
how many
it, but I
people
don't
you
have a
got?
mechanic.
I understand, but who's in the, how many people are at the shop here?
Two.
Okay, that's what I thought it was, but I wasn't sure. So, and you got a mechanic, right? So that's 4 people to keep y'all's equipment running. I got 2 people in IT to keep the county clerk, district clerk, all the courts, the auditor's office, my office, the sheriff's office. Everybody in the county, even y'all's offices, because, and y'all are using emails, you know, or Kathy's doing it or whatever. We're all, everything in county government is touched by IT. And we're talking 2 people to maintain all this equipment. Now you can imagine if all of a sudden, all you had was 2 people to maintain all y'all's equipment in the county. And if I didn't understand road and bridge at all, and I was proposing that, y'all think I was crazy. Cause I probably would be, right? You understand what I'm saying? So, I recognize that when y'all come in and you're talking about what you're needing to do, like your lease, I have to know that you understand what you're needing. And I have to listen to what y'all have to say.
Yeah, we understand
on
what
things
you're
that
saying. It's, you know,
Okay, so
that's
what I'm telling you is my department in IT needs some help. They seriously need some help.
what I see is that,
And
go ahead, do your thing.
well, what I'm saying is they probably needed help for a long time,
That's right.
but we're growing and we're requiring more and more and more. It'd be like if y'all added 2 or 3 pieces of equipment and your people are trying to keep up with maintenance. At some point, you got, you know, and because before, there was only about 3 people in maintenance. Now there's 4. It's the same thing. You know, they need some help to go in there, and they need, so they can focus on some of the more higher level stuff that they're doing, getting some of these programs implemented. They need somebody that they can send over. If my computer you know, I'm having trouble with my computer, one of the clerks, they need to replace your computer, they go over and take care of it. Same thing for the sheriff. When I first came in '99, there was 1 person that was an IT person, was GSA, 1. The first thing I did is require them to put 2 in place. When we upgraded all of our servers, went through a total upgrade in IT. And that because and what I told them, I said, look, the sheriff's department's gotta stay open 24/7. If something goes down at 2 o'clock in the morning, they gotta get it fixed. Y'all agree with me on that?
100%.
Okay, so I told GSA, I said, in the new contract, I'm required to at least 2 people. So we've been 2 people since 1999. Really, to address all the problems. We've grown tremendously since then. And I realize even with me coming in and trying to get Odyssey, I've gotta do, another program for paying the attorneys and defense. I've got 3 different systems that I have to look at regularly. And they're having to help make sure all that stays up and running, along with other technologies and some of our sources. So I'm just saying, 1 more person, some point, it might be another person, but I'm wanting to just, I'm asking the court to try to budget one person to finish out the year so we can get somebody employed by maybe July first, and then put that other person in the budget. And so,
And you're thinking about 35,000 from here till, is that correct?
yeah, because
New IT assistant.
46,000 would be what the salary would be. And so 35, I got Megan to figure out from July first, all the healthcare.
Benefits, everything.
So that would be just to get us through the year. I'm just telling you like,
Yeah.
I don't wanna get to the point where somebody say, well, IT's not getting their job done, well, they can't.
Well, IT wasn't getting their job done, and that's why, if you're through, I'm finished what I was saying. They was not getting their job done, you wasn't here then, that's why I was introducing this side to you. This court seen that they were struggling, we were all the way back in 2008 trying to get our stuff done. When we outsourced it, that was because we seen the struggle, okay? So we either agree that we need another position, or we need to go back out for more support. Are you listening, or are you playing on that game?
I ain't on no game.
Okay.
I'm checking.
But
I'm checking pictures.
that's where we're at. I don't have no problem with it, other than the fact that I don't know what our plans are as far as, what we're thinking about the employee, how to find another employee, somebody that might even be more knowledgeable on what we've got than who we got in place right now. We've had these struggles before for a reason, that we weren't been able to keep up with it. Maybe it was just because there's not enough hands on the ground, feet on the ground, just to be able to do the job. I don't know. Or was it somebody, that's what I think Joe and I was just kind of leaning to, do we got the right team? You know what I'm saying? So, and that's gonna be a commissioner's court decision on that, as far as what we decide on that. So I don't have no problems with that. I just think that we need to look at that as a whole and see what position we'll do. So there's a lot of decisions gets made that we don't get no opportunities to look
I
at.
understand, but I'm trying to communicate with the court a lot.
Yeah. I would hope so, yes, sir. 'Cause
I'm trying to give y'all enough information. Y'all saw that presentation they put together. I said, you need to go in there and explain to these people that are sitting on this court.
I asked them that, yes, sir.
They do not have the information they need to make decisions, to understand what y'all do.
That's why I asked for
It'd
it,
be the
yes.
same as me trying to figure out without going out to the barns and watching for days and days to try to, I have to listen to what y'all come and tell me.
Well, I think where I've lost some confidence is when they did come to us 2 years ago and said they needed the 800,000, and so I'm listening to them, cause I've
That's
done
right.
told you I know nothing about it, so I'm thinking, man, where are we gonna get this from, cause we didn't have the funds then. And then when they reached out to another company, there's a company out there that would help them out for the 230,000. Well, that, to me, that was a savings, right there. Yes, we have some problems with that company, but there's other companies out there. So I kinda lost some confidence in it there, that you brought me something for 800,000, it was fixed for less than
I
that.
think that was through Tyler Tech, that's just what they gave them.
Okay, but that's what I'm saying, so I need to be reassured that now I kinda doubt everything we're doing, not because of you, not
No,
just,
okay.
and I know everybody has to deal with them, not necessarily us, Mark, Nick.
That's why I've explained to them, we've had these conversations. We've got to explain to the commissioners what we're doing.
Yes.
Okay? Because y'all haven't had enough information. And I think that's the gap, is the communication.
I think what they don't want.
Y'all need, and this is the thing. They told us that when we were talking about looking at a disaster recovery, they said that you indicated to one of them that why not look at partnering with another county? I thought, that's a great idea. Why not? So they did. And right now, nobody wants to commit. But we are looking with somebody that's a professional that's helping us do some of that stuff. And like I told you in the last court, they're getting quotes on that, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised at what you see, okay? So we're working through a lot of issues, and we're talking about a lot of things, and when they put that presentation together, I thought that was an eye-opener to see how many computers they're actually servicing in this whole county, and how many departments.
I think
And so, I'm just asking for,
what we kind of understood before was a lot of some of these things they were doing, I think they were self-taught, self-teaching themselves,
They were.
winging. And now, I mean, it's like us, we have to be required to go get hours from, you know, continued education.
They
just
doing
like
that
you.
though, some, Rashad, I think.
they're doing some continuing,
But I mean, it's just like you and I talking about, you know, we wouldn't have bought $106,000 worth of equipment without coming to court. And that's the stuff that was bothering me the most, you know, was that we have some communication with IT, what's our direction, what's going on. That's why I'd asked Mike
We
to
wanna
kind of
be
tell us what.
informed.
Well, I mean,
what they're doing.
that's right. And I mean, they're just, but
Yeah,
it's being fixed now and I appreciate it, you know,
I recognize that the board needs information, okay? And so,
and I
Well,
appreciate it.
and like I say, it just, my, I don't know what you wanna call it, has to be brought back to a certain level that I don't have to investigate everything that I'm told, okay, is this the truth, is this what we need or what, cause I don't,
well, do me a favor,
yes,
come talk to me.
well, I'm not talking about you, I'm just saying when information's brought to me,
IT wise,
Yeah,
cause we know
is
nothing
it-
about it.
I understand, if it was road and bridge, I would come to you.
Yeah.
IT is under my direction, so if you got a question, come talk to me.
Yeah.
Okay? Because I'm interacting with them all the
Do you
time.
mind if we weigh in on the IT thing for just a minute? We're the largest consumer in the county on that.
Yes.
So,
You wanna, can you go up?
Yeah.
Mike, so it's on record.
So a while ago when I was
Yeah,
looking
I'm
on the
glad
phone,
you-
He's
Did
the
you
man
ask
on point on this for us because
35,000.
you hit it the nail on the head a while ago. We're the only 24-hour a day.
With healthcare and benefits
So
for
the
one
county is the
salary?
largest single employer.
Hang on.
Hang on.
Hey,
Let's share back forward here, man.
No.
Or Nick, can y'all get over here by this microphone?
Sure.
It should be.
I don't think anybody in the next room will have trouble hearing me, I just talk loud. But nonetheless, as the largest 24-hour consumer of the product, I think the solution is a combination of two things. You know, I've spent a lot of time with IT here lately, and realistically, there's no substitute for having an outside company to do consulting for us and to handle emergencies when they come up, so that there's no way for everybody in IT to be good at everything they do, everything all of them do. So basically by default, Mike handles certain things. One of those is Odyssey. Tex handles other things, and they do a fairly good job with that. I don't have any real complaints. They do need another set of boots on the ground. I'll tell you that from my perspective.
And we are talking about trying to have a resource
Yeah.
for that professional support.
And I knew that they were already in discussions trying to get quotes from other resources. And I think the court needs to be involved in defining the scope, but they need to be stakeholders as well. IT needs to be stakeholders as well in defining the scope of what help it is that they need. Basically, from our standpoint, if Mike's out of town and CAD goes down, I don't need to have to wait until he gets back or he can find someplace to dial in. We need a company that we can reach out to in their stead and get them at 2 o'clock in the morning, whoever their on-call person is can solve our problem, get us back up and running. And no matter how many people we employ, unless we employed 25 in IT, that wouldn't be possible without the help of somebody from outside.
With some of them other companies, they have multiple levels of people who are educated. You know.
If you want to roll out a website, they've got a guy that does that. If you you got a problem with Odyssey, they'll have somebody that does that. If you got a problem, we used a similar service, Computerland is who we used when I was with the city, and basically like this CAD program that we're rolling out, Mobile CAD. They had a guy that was very familiar with how all of that works. They sent him to us. It rolled out seamless. And I don't know what it would be now. Our cost at that time was $50,000 a year is what we paid for that service. And for X number of hours a week for them to have people on site. And we don't even need that here. We already pay to have people on
Still
site.
saying we need tech support.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head a while ago. They do a lot of self-teaching. If we add this CAD program, nobody over there knows it. They're gonna have to spend a lot of time learning it and then trying to stay current with it. Where if you had an outside tech support, they're gonna have a CAD guy that's the expert guy.
But one thing is, IT needs to be involved.
Yes,
Absolutely.
In making those decisions to find out what programs they need, and that's with interacting with y'all and everybody else in the county.
Exactly.
And they are going through that process right now.
Yeah, I knew
Because they
that.
realize that there's some things, I mean, it's just like one of us, if it's something that's above our level, you know, you gotta know your limitations.
Exactly. Judge, you know.
And the other thing, let me ask you a
Go ahead,
question
I'm
while you're here.
Yeah.
Do you see the need though, that sometimes when somebody needs something, we need more, at least another person in IT to be able to respond?
Oh, yeah, I already spoke to that.
Yes.
And I would actually request that if we get another person, their primary responsibility be the sheriff's office. Because we
But they
tie.
have to be educated on that, to be
Yeah,
able to handle
exactly.
your situation.
Exactly.
That would free up ticks and
We tie up the majority of their time with our problems. So, realistically, let me just throw this out there. I have no doubt about how smart the guys in IT are. They're both pretty smart guys. I firmly believe that they can learn to do anything that we need done. But trying to learn to do that many things
That's
all
right.
at one time,
I
it's
agree.
gonna jam up your brain.
well, it does, and it takes time to learn those things, and our money is better spent
But when you
on those one-off projects like
Yeah,
that.
but when you outsource it, some of those, do they supply, I mean, like this last company we got involved with, they had supplied equipment. I mean, does that cut back on our equipment when you go back through some of these, if you did outsource it to some
It
support?
could, it would depend on the scope
I
of,
guess it does.
it would depend on the scope of what you asked them to
If not, they would just
outsource for you.
filter it back and forth between us, what we do.
At the city, we used all our own equipment
Okay.
that we own.
It just seems like that's one of the things that's very costly in that business is, you know, in the IT part is the equipment.
Sure, it is. I mean, servers are expensive, you know, you're looking at $10,000 a piece for servers, basically. And you gotta plan on replacing those every 5 years.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I don't know, we probably spent a long time on this.
sure.
But there's no question, and they're doing that as far as looking for other sources to give them the support they need.
Yeah.
And so, that's something we're actually doing.
And like I said, Judge, I knew that from my conversation that I had with him a couple weeks ago. But, like I said, from our standpoint, knowing, I have a fairly decent working knowledge of how IT works, and specifically our IT. But I believe it's a combination of both, and the sheriff's, I think, on board with me.
It's the same thing.
You've got to have that resource that has multi-level experts in a lot of different things, so that no matter what it is you're doing, they can send an expert to help with that, or just have them dial in. 99% of the time, they don't even have to send somebody, they just dial in and fix it from where they are. But there is no substitute for having that extra pair of hands to actually go fix a computer that's somewhere, or change out a hard
Somebody's
drive.
locked out.
Change out.
Fix somebody's email,
The
yeah.
judge mentioned we're spending a lot of time on this. We need to, because it's not going away. It's only getting more and more. The need grows larger and larger every time we add more technology and more resources to the county. You know, a lot has changed in my 40-year career, and one is that technology keeps reaching new levels, and we're going to need that resource in combination of the two, the boots on the ground, as well as that professional resource that knows the platforms and knows the
Has
resources.
many different options.
That's it. You know,
But that's what scares me is about who do you hire, you know what I'm saying? You wanna hire somebody better than you got always, but then what does it cost, you know?
Well, like I said, I think you guys will probably be surprised, by how much that service will be. I don't think it's gonna be as much as you think it might. The key is asking for what you want them to do, and not
Maybe there's something like that, like the ticketing system deal, you know, that's been kind of back and forth, nobody ever wanted to do it, but I mean,
And they actually told me, IT actually told me the other day they're working on a ticketing
you
system.
know, they had the one that they could get from that.
No, I haven't implemented ticketing system.
Oh, well, it's already
You know,
implemented
it's
now.
supposed to, you know, been the one that didn't cost us nothing, but put it in place,
And it didn't cost us anything.
yeah, that's what it's supposed to be.
But
And I did
nonetheless,
that so I could give information to this court on what they're at,
That's right.
all the work that they're
That's
actually
what I'd
doing.
like to
I
see.
did that for the benefit of budget,
Mhm.
and so they've done it internally to keep up with the workload that they're doing.
Mhm.
Because I felt like that's information that I could bring back to the court. So, that's implemented.
but I mean, our requirements are gonna grow just like every other branch of county government for, IT. So realistically, the more and more we're going to a digital world, the more and more important it is for us to put a strong IT infrastructure in with the help that our people need to facilitate that.
With, at the commission, we had like 4 people when I went to work in '06. The state's implemented so many programs, and we're doing the same thing. We're having to absorb different programs that are state mandated or whatever.
Unfunded mandate.
And, yeah, and so, I think they have a whole wing up there now. It's not 4 people, it's more like, they just probably,
You'd be amazed at what we
they
have
authorize,
DPS.
so much stuff that in the legislative session, I hear they're gonna have to hire
My bad.
another,
And I actually found a hole
8
in
to 10
their security where I could look up anybody's PID without even
Yeah.
having a T-Pledge account.
so anyway, I mean, everybody's going, but we gotta move on, but.
Yeah, we just wanted to weigh in on that,
Thank you.
that's
Yes,
all,
sir.
I thought it was important.
Thank you.
Since y'all done
Hey,
that
you
part,
have the name on.
you're a big user of what we're talking about. Do you have any input? I know y'all use it a lot.
And Chief probably shouldn't have run away so quickly, but a lot of our stuff, and so one of the reasons that we went with a cloud-based system for our land and vitals, and I know a lot of people don't like the cloud, but we already realized that the IT department was overworked, and I didn't want to add more work to our local IT department. Plus, my idea was if the system goes down here locally, I can still access the records, you can still access your records, I can still pull stuff in from the cloud. And so that was one of the reasons I wanted to get away from the physical server part of it, was because I didn't want to add any more stuff to the IT department, any more things to them. The problem at the time was we didn't have the internet speed. Well, now we've actually got that, so it works. The other half of the office is kind of like what Chief was talking about, is Odyssey. Well, some of you guys remember this, and Judge wasn't here, but when we got Odyssey, kind of like what he was alluding to, we had people on staff. Like we didn't, when GSA was here, and then it turned into LGS too, but they provided everything, like servers, computers, scanners, printers, faxes. It was turnkey. Everything was provided. Yeah, the entire county was done by that company, and then we added Odyssey. Well, the problem with Odyssey is it's got so many things that it will do, and I see Chief shaking his head. The problem is when we implemented, we paid cash money for the system.
And you didn't get taught every aspect of it.
Well, and there was no business process plan put in
Thank
place,
you.
which is part of the problem
Thank
that we have today
With Tyler Technologies
with Tyler
and
Technology,
Odyssey.
because it's got this huge, complex schematics that you've got to know how to do. Well, guess what? The county nor the software company said, oh, babe, by the way, we don't need to eliminate this from the contract. We need to add this to it. So we've been since 2005. Y'all went live with Odyssey. So we'll just say 2005. We went live with Odyssey, and we've never, in this 2023, we've never had a plan of what to do when somebody gets booked into the jail, when they get rearrested, when there is no arrest. That there's no plan, and it's all messed up.
Who builds that plan though?
But see, the tech support is supposed to offer it, but our tech
See, I told
guys
you you
have
left
to
too
work
early.
with them. And what happened was when we integrated some of those, and like, I think 12, and we did some more around 2010.
Sorry.
We took tech support from them for about 4 months, and then we sent them
I
home.
did. No,
So like
somebody
about
walked out that
2012, when
door,
we
and I
integrated
just
one
looked at
part
the
of
door,
Tyler
and I
Technology,
just looked at you and
I
you're
would just
like,
use them as an example. We did tech support for them for like 4 months. After that 4 months, we said, okay, we're done with y'all. We don't want to pay for it no more. But our IT guys still needed a hands-on and to learn more how to work their systems more. But they didn't want to learn it no more from them.
But let me ask y'all.
And that was a problem.
So let me ask y'all a question. Is this court? What does Odyssey do? Tell me anybody, any of the court members, tell me what Odyssey does for the county.
it does all of the legal judicial stuff.
No, I'm talking about specifically, what does it handle?
Oh, no, I don't know.
See, that's what I'm saying. Y'all are not being given the information. That's what I'm trying to change. This court has got to be armed with information to make solid decisions. And that means, and I had the same problem when I tried to upgrade our systems back in about 2005. And I had a committee of all the elected officials. We met 3 times. Do you know what they told me? All 3 times. We gotta get rid of this system. We gotta get rid of this system. All it was a gripe session. And I said, tell me what you need.
You know what
Because I don't know all what you need. Isn't that a good question?
Yes.
If you tell me what you need, that informs me on what I need to start working on. Do y'all understand what I'm saying?
Well, that's what I was wondering about, that idea you just said it was a committee.
That's what I was going to ask next. Do we need to set up a
You
committee?
said you had,
That's not gonna really work.
okay.
Alright, trust me. I've done it, been there, done that, okay? What we do need though is some of the bigger players to get together. Not a huge committee, but a working committee.
Like one of the district
Well,
judges?
But I want IT to.
Yeah, they'll have to be there. So they can be
We
direction.
talked about that, Nick and I, and he had a really good plan, but we got it down on paper there in
But
office.
I wanna.
Getting a
be
committee
involved.
I read minutes
together.
where there used to be a committee a long time ago.
Yeah, we could have a committee.
Yes, there was
Yeah.
one.
You
No,
know,
there was a committee,
Yeah.
but it was not, we weren't successful in doing anything because nobody would tell me what they needed.
Well, we're scared of Nick,
So,
so.
so let's take that experience, and change the approach, okay?
Yeah.
So I am working on IT, I talk to them all the time,
Let's set up a committee.
okay? Well, let me try to come up with a working committee and bring it to the court, okay?
That would be great.
Yeah,
Because the systems that affect maybe Nick and the 2 clerks don't affect the tax assessor.
No, we don't need everything. We need
No,
certain.
what I'm saying is, some of the things we got in place are working.
Yes, sir.
What we need to do is identify the places
Where it's not
where we need to improve.
and
But part of it,
can I chime in on just one point right there, Judge?
yeah,
Honestly, we don't know what doesn't work
Well,
right now because.
you don't know what you don't know.
Well, that's exactly right, and the problem is, there's no roadmap. That's the biggest problem with Odyssey. Now, don't hear me saying we need to get away from Tyler Technologies, we need to get away from Odyssey. Because we are kind of married to it now.
We married to both of them.
And so the bottom line is, if we need to, and I love the committee idea, but I think you gotta have a stakeholder from even the ones that are working right. And that's what I was trying to speak to. Because if you don't, we don't know how they're gonna interact with one another. I'll give you an example. In Henderson County, when they were implementing Odyssey, the clerk's office wanted their date of birth one way. The jail needed their date of birth to be a different way. Well, they didn't know that because it's separate little groups of programmers that work together, that don't work together, they work in their individual groups. So they changed it for the clerk's office, and it changed it throughout the rest of the county. It shut the jail down because it was a conflict
Well,
of
it's
software.
just like, it's the example is what Commissioner Manners was talking
Yep.
about. Judge Davis wants this program,
Mhm.
but we don't know what the other judges want to do.
That's right.
Okay, and I may not be one, me and Judge Duran may not want to do what Judge Davis is doing. So we kind of internally, we gotta identify what's separate requests versus what's gonna interact with everybody. But I guess one thing is, we gotta move on.
Yeah.
Because we're in
I'm
the
getting
lunch
angry.
hour.
So.
We're into the lunch hour, trying to budget ARPA money.
Yeah.
So let's look at it as an overall, let's put some money there, if y'all decided, if the court feels like we need to put some money there, let's put a little bit of money there to try to help us with some of that. If we don't, then let's make a decision, okay? Cause we're getting, I think it's great discussions, but I think we
I
can't do
just
the
think-
ARPA money.
Personally, before we put the money in there and say, well, just go hire somebody, I'd rather look at the outside source of seeing that would bring more to the table than one person with boots on the ground. Then, if we could do that, fixing it with somebody that would support us, still getting them somebody, you
To
know,
help
we could go with that cheap rent. If not, I think we need to advertise to get a better person than maybe than what we're, you know, maybe, I don't know who's better, who's worse, but you know, because we do have an issue that some of these things can't be fixed. If somebody's on vacation or somebody's gone, Mark was down 4 days because of it.
What we're needing,
So I don't want to just jump in
I
there.
know sometimes when he's down, it may be one of the, like Tyler Technology, may not just.
No,
be
it was, he said
All
he
right,
couldn't fix
let's
it.
do this.
Yeah, so it don't matter, but I just don't want to put it in there and just wake up tomorrow morning, come up here and got a new employee.
Yeah, well,
All right,
right now,
let me
we're
just,
just.
let me say this, okay? Let me say this. I just explained to you why we need somebody else in there, okay? It doesn't have to be somebody that's at 46,000, you're not fixing to hire somebody.
That's right.
Come in there with all your programs. We're looking at other programs, let us bring that back to the court and what the suggestions are, give us time to work on that, we are doing it, okay? But if you don't wanna put the employee in there, that's up to y'all. I'm just asking, I'm telling you what I need. This is not a want, this is a need. And I'm asking you to
Well,
let us have another employee.
I was trying to figure it out.
But
And that's
we
what-
can't, we
Yeah, that's
can't
what I
make
asked.
that decision, but we can
Yeah.
budget it.
35
Right.
is for the rest of the year.
And so what I'm saying is,
46 would be for the full year,
Yes, that's.
but you would have to put 70 total, right? 24,000 for,
Yeah, for the
Oh.
full year with the, I mean, I don't know what the exact number is, but with health insurance, retirement.
the total position would cost us 70 grand.
I have to do the
I
math.
think so. That's what I was
no,
figuring out. when you were-
46,000 would be
I
about 60 or something.
Yeah.
I would be about 70. That's what I was figuring out when you asked me what was I doing. It was on a game. I was trying to add up. If
We
put
looked
in
at it.
46.
I can do
No,
that.
no, it's okay. I may be off, but
What's the base salary?
Usually you add 20%, that's gonna cover it.
Nick knows the number. He has his percentages.
Or 21.13% plus, $10,080 for a new FTE.
so
Give me the base salary, I'll tell you the total.
46,000.
Pardon?
46,000.
46,000 even?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I was given a ballpark figure of 70.
He figures everything. He doesn't matter.
66 something.
65, 70.
See,
Okay.
You said 70.
I said I just gave you a high end ballpark of 70.
But
But
if
alright,
we do
but
it
that's a-
July the first
I said
till
66.
But he's talking
December
about that's-
31st
That's
is
a $46,000
$35,000.
position and then all the extras.
That's out of ARPA.
Right,
Then we just cover
Budget.
the salary.
Budget.
budget.
Okay.
Do you have the budget available on the positions that we have now? What, we have 2 positions, what are they budgeted at as far as the base part of it?
The IT director is 68,385, and IT assistant is 45,571.
And the other 68,
68,385.
and you took him all the way to there, right?
It doesn't matter, the court approved that.
What
It's
else-
irrelevant.
what
No,
else-
that's great, I
No,
just,
it's irrelevant.
What I was
though. It's
asking
what was
for-
budgeted.
Is
yeah,
Ano-
that's
another
perfectly
employee
fine,
deal.
that's, yeah.
to help with hardware deployment and everything like that. Somebody that's not gonna be your high level person, but just to help us get this stuff deployed. And
Yeah.
the other part of that.
One stream, that's
other
irrelevant.
part-
No, I know that, but I wanted to
That's
make
like
sure that was a
the court
question.
gives you a position,
Hey,
and you
I
knock
support it
down
100%,
5,000.
I think it should have already been done.
Yeah, I understand, that's an irrelevant
Yeah.
question, I'm saying.
Relevant to not my education, I want to make sure it's done. That was
I mean, the other
education,
part of that,
I thought it was super.
because of the 2 people we got is trying to, put one is IT assistant. So, I was trying.
So this other
Because
position,
with all that they're doing, I can tell you that from a market standpoint, I'm thinking, I want to put Texas.
It's both of them.
But the,
We got deputies making more than he's got. Mike takes care of those counties.
I didn't miss that part, what was that?
I said, I asked that we, Tex IT assistant director at 55 is part of that ARPA request too. Because he's gonna be having to help train the new person coming in. I've seen so many times when somebody that's is training somebody's gonna be making more than they are, so. I just feel like with the experience.
You don't think we can find somebody that's more experienced and that we don't have to train so much? I mean, I know they have to have an introduction to the
There's
system.
We're going to have to put it out for an employee advertising. And I don't know what
See
kind of
what we
level-
get.
See what we can get. I mean, if you wanna put it at 50,000, then we can see what we get and set the salary accordingly. And then I wanna move Tex to 55. So, we can talk about it at the next, commissioner's court meeting. If y'all wanna put some dollars there, we go. You wanna put 250,000 for IT programs, just not knowing all what we might have to deal with. Just to have a budget item. 200,000, whatever you want.
Yeah, what
I'm
would,
not just talking about employees, I'm talking about.
Right,
Yeah,
the
every-
programs,
every
everything.
employee.
If we had to get a server, or if we had to deploy.
But all that'll be brought to us in the court, that's what he's saying now.
Yeah.
yeah,
And on this
Because we can't
employee,
take action on it today.
yeah, and
No.
on the employee deal, you know, I mean, that'll all have to come to court. If it decides to build a position or even to increase the position, that's not irrelevant.
No. You know what I mean. That would need to be too.
That
Yes,
sounds
ma'am,
fine.
I
all right,
appreciate
what are you thinking? Or money wise, what are y'all
it.
thinking?
Keep me straight.
I'm trying to.
What do you think, 200,000, 250,000?
I love you, I do.
All my time.
That's, I mean, I don't have a problem with that.
All right.
What did you say, how much?
250.
250,000. That sound okay?
Is that what you would budget?
We're gonna put 250 in
Hold
there.
on.
Yeah.
Yes,
We're just gonna put it in there and then it can
Yes,
be
sir.
whatever, we can take it out, put it in.
That's fine.
Add to it, whatever.
And y'all want recess for lunch?
Just poke at you a little bit.
No, I'm joking. But if Mr.
3
Dixon needs to go
million
eat, we'll go eat. Do you need to go eat, Mr.
You
Dixon?
got that
up
more
with
than
it,
you
too?
can imagine from other people that.
What are you at? You just roundabout?
Yeah, I just said
Okay.
4 and 6 is 3.
Yeah, so we're right at two.
Yeah, so I
I
just,
mean, y'all think we can knock it out in the next 20 minutes?
I would like to.
I'm good with
What's
Yeah,
that.
let's knock it out.
I'll stay if y'all wanna stay.
We can do
Yeah,
it
let's
15 minutes
stay.
flat.
Yeah,
Start
knock
the
it
timer, Mark.
What's left?
15 minutes flat, okay?
Alright, we got Expo.
No, no, what's,
Road,
how much money's left? There's 2.5 million left in there. At the Civic Center, in my opinion, with y'all
Well,
know,
the Civic Center,
we've already got money there,
I
so.
think,
We'll leave it alone for now.
Okay.
We got somebody
Leave it.
playing
What
extra
money
work
is
on those.
Construction and Expo Center.
So,
did we ever come up with a figure on the Expo Center?
well, I mean, the two things, we passed the dirt work to be able to go out to bids, thought it'd be a little premature to wait till, we got the building plans back, the boy was supposed to got them 2 weeks ago. You know, and he has not, so, you know, you reached out to him,
Yeah,
I reached out to him, but I don't know, it's gonna be on the specs to get the bid on that, to be able to know what the footage is as far as the pad before you do the dirt. I mean, you gotta know what the pad is to do the dirt.
yeah.
And then at that point, we've, talked to the, engineer guy over here, what is it called, Fontaine?
Fontaine and Associates.
So they got the water stuff worked out, but to get the bid on the water, you know, it's all been sized and everything done, but they've not turned in a bid to get the water there. You know, instead of going into a water system dealer.
Yeah, building a
Anyway.
water system, yes.
So you got the dirt and that and the building plans, and then at that point, on the buildings, you know, you have the finished work on the inside of the building.
Yeah,
But that'll have to come through, you know, another whole step. And all the parking lots and all this stuff, you know, it's another deal. Electrical plans.
so what would be a figure on the first step?
I don't know, you know, just be guessing, but I mean, I don't know if it'd be 2 million or what it'd be, I don't know what it costs for that amount of buildings. He said $15 a foot, and we're talking about building, I don't know what the footage is on all those buildings.
I don't know what it would be.
How many buildings beside the bill?
I mean, since I walked in the door, I haven't had a conversation about this.
You know, just a little bit of.
We had
The
that.
only conversation I had with the court was back in like early December.
And you said,
And
mentioned,
so, you know, just so everybody understands, I don't
That's
know
right.
anything, not
that's why I say,
anything about that.
since you and I had the discussion about, you know, the helping out with the presentation, I've not got the plans back from the architect.
You talking about the discussion we had like in December,
Yeah, you and I,
before I took off?
no, when you and I was sitting in your office. You and I was sitting in the office, you said you didn't wanna be left out on it, you wanna be a part of it, and then you'd help me with the presentations, all that. Maybe it slipped.
I don't remember.
Well, it
that
passed
much of
over
the
you,
conversation.
yeah. But I said I didn't have my plans back and all that yet, so I don't know yet, so anyway.
Yeah,
But that
no
was all.
discussions have been on this.
Well, we've not because of that, you know, because of that plans of that, and I don't know why the board's taking so long. That was why we didn't go, you know, that's why we decided to go with their company because of their speediness of it, you know. 6 months later, they're still dragging their feet, but
Yeah,
he's
well,
done brought 2 sets of plans, and it might be partly me, cause, you know, quirky with some of the stuff. Wanna change the point of entries on this last deal, but he's got it put together. So I just need to get the plans back, and put them in here. I mean, let y'all look at them.
Yeah, it's, I mean, when it comes back, the whole court's gonna make the decision on what
I
they
have to,
want, what they
on
want to
everything.
do, and all that. I just, like I say, without Sim not knowing, I mean, my initial thought would be $2 million. But that's just my thought, cause I have no
That's
idea
just
on
a
the square
start, you know,
footage,
that's
so
the
to
same.
see all that, and if you said $15 a square foot, which metal prices have come down.
They have come
We're
down.
building on the church right now because the prices really come down in the last 8 months.
Okay, well, the only thing we got left is what we did on road construction in the expo center.
But
Can we
that's-
just put
I mean-
what's left in the expo and
And
then,
if there was anything left, we were gonna.
yeah, well, that's what we was talking about a while ago with that, civic center, there's 5 point some odd million still left in those COs. So 5.8 million still left
But,
in there.
Mr. Dixon,
Yes,
didn't
sir.
you do the figures a while ago? From what we've already allocated out, how much is left over, sir?
2.9.
2.9?
or roughly.
2,548,000.
200.
Yeah,
So 2,500,000.
so you wanna put it all in one, or y'all wanna divide, it? You wanna put some
Well,
in one,
you
some
say,
in the other?
y'all
Let's
say
go
you think y'all
home
want
and
an
go
estimate
eat. It's
about
up to
2
y'all.
million, so let's just
Because
put
it's
2
gotta
million
be-
in here. And the other 5, what do you wanna do? You wanna go road structure, civic center?
Well, I'm like them, you know, I would like to come in under the 5.8 for the civic center. You know, I think it's very
I agree.
doable.
Let's do
Okay,
it.
we'll just throw the 500,000 road restriction.
And like I say, it don't matter, you know, where we put it. You
We-
can take it
no,
out,
you
we
can-
can move it, we
Cause
can
none,
do whatever.
nothing,
But it'll all be allocated today if y'all decide where y'all.
Five
wanna
hundred,
put
the
that.
rest of it, put the 2 million there the way they wanted, and put the 500,000 road structure.
And I really do appreciate this workshop.
Yes.
It's been good.
I think we need to have more roundtable discussions like this.
It's
So we
every-
don't have to
having
get in
these
court in front of the
conversations.
people and
Never
have,
gonna happen.
yes, sir.
none
Okay,
of
so
us.
there's 48,000 left over, just leave it that way.
I'm sorry.
48,000.
So what are y'all telling me on the expo? Tell me
Yes,
what you wanna put on
2
there.
million.
$2 million, and then you can leave the 48 in limbo if you want to, and then if that's worst case scenario, and they close that on us, and we got to dedicate, leave 48,000.
And then you
Or
put
just put it in road.
yeah, you can put 548 road structure, whatever you wanna do, it didn't matter. Just 500 over here.
Yeah, let's do,
And none of
allocate
it,
it all.
everything has to be approved of court.
That way
And
if
it'll be
something.
548.
So how much?
548,
Oh, hold on.
130.
Five.
48, 130.
Judge can keep it pad, I don't use it.
130?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Alright. Is that it?
That's it, boss.
That's got every dollar, man. Okay.
Thank you.
Alright.
Getting our money.
Alright, now, I'll figure up a list of this for us to, you know, budget on an action item, okay? Alright. Anything else?
I think that's it.
Alright.
Where
And you
buying
said
lunch?
that you were looking to the computer for you were looking to the computer with IT for the district court.
Rude.
Yeah, that'll be internal audit.
Yes, sir. You'll look into that. That's all my
Whatever.
Just let me know, sir.
Yeah.
I told Judge when I was,
Back
I told Judge Fletcher and I told Judge. Yes, sir.
She'd say, I need you to do that, I'll do anything, and then I can look at her wrong, and she goes, what are you looking at?
I'll entertain a motion. Adjourn. Motion by Commissioner Dixon, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Mills, all in favor say aye. Let's get out of here.
Thank you.
Dang, I didn't catch you on that shirt, man.
Thank y'all.